Lord have mercy. What a day already. What a life. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Just going through my phone briefly as I get started to see if there was anything recently uploaded that I might want to add to my watch later while I'm sitting here today. Hmm. 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 No, that's dumb. Nope, 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 nope. Nope, nope, nope. Oh, I didn't want to save that. I don't know if it'll. I feel like I've saved that a million times and it never stays in there. Hmm. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, that looks interesting. Small video too. Uh, nope, nope, nope. Yeah, interesting. Oh, hey. Hi, Gregatron. Hi, Caleb. The Great Snow White Hope. Lord, I just read something about Snow White, like the Disney cartoon that disturbed me. Apparently she died, y'all. And like the prince that came to save her was like really the prince of death who took her to heaven. It freaked me out. I was like, whoa, childhood blown. And that's hitches you as well. The depths of envy. Envious people will kill you. All right. You do not want to keep an envious person in your life, period. And I've dealt with it before. Like, yeah, yeah. When he takes her to their kingdom, it's heaven. It's like in the clouds, it's the golden pearly gates of heaven, and she never wakes up, and that's why the dwarves can't go with her. Nobody else can go with her. Like, yeah, I'm gonna rewatch that. Yeah, Caleb knows you've dealt with envy as well. Envious people, like envy is one of the worst sins because, well, I've learned a lot about it. I might do another video about it. I did a video before about staying away from miserable people, and but envious people, they rejoice in iniquity, they take joy in other people's suffering, and they are miserable when other people are happy. They're completely evil. It's completely evil. Their whole mindset is skewed the wrong way. Like they're happy when you fail, and they take glee in it. And you don't want people like that in your life because they're going to be setting you up to fail. Oh, thank you, Seesaw. Seesaw coming in with a super chat. What a queen. Thank you, sis. Thank you. Yeah. Stay away from anybody miserable. Like, miserable people tend to be envious. But yeah, like, and I've just known other people as well that have envious people in their life that just, once they cut that tie, like the quality of their life improves. But yeah, those people will drag you down with them. People who, I mean, misery is a choice as well. You can be physically suffering and spiritually be good, but Again, if a person is miserable in their character, they're going to make you miserable. So, what am I doing here? I was looking through YouTube just to see if I had anything in my subscriptions I wanted to add to the playlist. I need to do my nails. It's going to be like a long stream, I figure, because I have to cut my nails. I've already cut one of them, my thumbnail, and y'all, I might have to cut it further. It's like bad. I'm hoping I can save it a bit, but it ripped. Oh, and it ripped like really low down. So I don't want my nail. I mean, I don't even think I can cut my nail that short, honestly. No, no. So I'm going to do what I can to try and like doctor it and save it. But, you know, that's usually, no, you was sleeping. You was being so good. Now you crying at me. Oh, what a pretty boy. What a pretty boy. What a pretty boy. Hi, pretty boy. Hi. Well, anyway, let's just get started. You know, feel free to like drop topics as well. Hey, anything you want me to chat about? No, that's so rude. That was so rude. You just knocked that stuff over I had here. Damn, what's wrong with you? You don't love me no more? I know what it is. Oh my goodness. Or you love me too much. What is it? Y'all like my case, my little astronaut case? It's cute, huh? I love pulling it out and being all, you got no manners. I raised you better than this. I raised you better than this. Oh, okay, guys. I got to see my friend Leah yesterday. Oh, she's going to be moving out of town next month. I'm really sad. She's moving to Vegas. I'm like, you know, we've been friends, you know, for a number of years now, and just it's going to be a tough adjustment, but I'm hoping it's, you know, I'm happy for her, but yeah, I'm going to be sad not to have her around. But she has these puppies that she was rehoming up here, and they're beautiful dogs. She's already rehomed two of them, and the other one is going to get rehomed on the 29th. Man, this dog is so cute. So we hung out with this sweet little dog yesterday. She's 4 months old. Her name is Padme, and she's a husky and golden retriever mix. And she has the most beautiful markings like on her face. And she's, she's still small, but she's going to be a massive dog. And she's still being trained, and I was impressed with her, and it was fun walking. We went on this like nice walk together with the dog, and we came across another puppy, and they got to play together for a while. Why do people say rehomed? It's sold. I don't think she sold these dogs. I think she found people to just adopt the dogs. I don't think they're being sold. I mean, I didn't ask. Hey, that's a good insight, Cecil. She says the few envious people I've dealt with have one thing in common: no love from their fathers. It's not a coincidence. Yeah, that's true. That's true. My baby. Oh, he's your baby. Oh. Yeah, we brought the dog up in here. Nero was so funny when the little puppy came into the apartment. He got his back all up, you know. He was in his black cat pose with the with his fur standing on edge. Anyway, like Leah needed to use the bathroom, so probably shouldn't talk about that. But anyway, there was a moment when Leah left the room, and Padme was a little bit nervous and kind of pacing, and she kept walking past Nero. She had really good manners with the cat, though. Like she already knew cats, so I think she already kind of knew not to, bother them. So, but still, Nero was getting like ticked every time she walked by. So I kind of like got in between the two of them. And, you know, she was kind of, I don't know, pacing and being distracting. So I was like, I just looked at her and I was like, sit. And she like did. She sat. And I was like, good girl. You know, I was giving her all this love and stuff for sitting, being a good girl. And then like when Leah came back out, she was like, did you sit? And she's like, I haven't even taught her how to sit. So, you know, she's thinking that the people who had her before were teaching the dog to sit. So yeah, she got treats for sitting, but I was pretty impressed also with how obedient she was when like Leah left the room. And yeah, she was using a clicker to train the dog. So it was interesting just watching that happen. She's pretty good at training dogs, actually, I have to say. One of the things I've known about her over the years, she has a really well-behaved dog that's like, he's just a perfect little gentleman. And she's also helped other people train their dogs. So, yeah. Anyway, she's gonna be a good dog, this beautiful dog. Anyway, we went to like dinner at this outdoor patio place, and literally everyone wanted to say hi to this gorgeous puppy. You know, she was famous. I was like, "Oh, are you famous, baby girl?" She's super cute and so soft. I was like, oh, I want her, you know, I want a puppy like this, but ain't no way. Sometimes I threaten Nero with like getting a dog, but I cannot take care of a dog. It's not gonna happen. We're not getting a dog. I wouldn't do that. You're my love. I wouldn't get a dog. No. Why would I get a dog when I have the kitty? Why would I do that? I would never do that to you. But I have noticed, like, in homes where there's a dog and cat, it is a nice symbiotic relationship they take on. You know, the animals kind of, especially, you know, as they learn to tolerate one another, they pick up one another's ways and actually, like, they become more tamed by one another. It's interesting. Oh, you're so loving. Why are you so loving? When I betrayed you, I brought a dog in your house, but you still love me. Hey, Dijon Pa. Dijon Pa is here. I know, you know what? And Nero knocked my biscuit and my nail polish remover and everything. Well, that's enough of me chatting here. You do love you. Yes, I love you. I love you. I love you, the kitty. I love the whiskers. I love the little ears. I love the little fur, every little fur on your precocious little kitty body. I love the little nose. I love the little chin. I love the little white spots. Yes, you're so pretty. Oh. Well, the weekend's been nice so far. Got up this morning, got dressed pretty quickly, and went and got myself a coffee. Went out and got myself a large, y'all, 16 ounce from the Umbria, Cafe Umbria. If you know, you know. Got a pumpkin spice latte. What's the topic? We're just chilling. I'm going to be doing my nails in a minute. I got to cut these things. I got to paint them. I got to file them. I got to work on them. So we're going to be watching videos and just chilling. You know, and if you want to bring up a topic, you're free to. You know, you want me to talk about something, we'll talk about it. It's a chill stream. You got a question, Greg? Drop the question. Come on. We're chilling. Let's chill. And I think we're gonna do the nice red color once we get the nails. We're gonna do a nice red. Have I showed you guys this tattoo? It's one of my sickest ones. Do you like it? Man, I remember when I got this done. If you're Snow White, who are the 8 dwarves? My lipstick, oh, it's MAC. It's I don't know the type. I don't know what it is. I have 2 colors that are similar. This one's like the more orangey color. Yeah, the pAtRiArChY. Oh, okay. I saved this video, y'all. The title of it was crazy. But yeah, my lipstick it's MAC. I also I put like a little, since the lipstick is kind of dry, I put has a dry formula. I put a little bit of a balm over it that has a slight tint, but it's hardly noticeable. And oh my god, love you, I love you, I love you. Why are you so loving? What did I ever do to deserve this much love? Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, who are my dwarves? Well, I've got Court. He can be one of my dwarves. There's Court. There's Gregatron. There's, yeah, Dijon Pa. Lin Yan-Chin has me blocked. She's not one of my dwarves. Zenny can be one of my dwarves. Fred. Irish Pub, do you want to be a dwarf? Who else is there? We'll make Chase in Texas one of them. He has been so nasty to me. I can't believe it. Lynn's the angry dwarf. I was always friendly to him, but he's like, I don't know. He doesn't watch my videos from what I understand, so that's fine. But yeah, he like, I don't know. Every time I catch him in the chat, he's like just either talking smack about me or like he started implying that I'm some kind of like, he called me a coal burner, which I think is a derogatory term for a white woman who sleeps with black men, which I mean, like, I don't disclose any kind of thing about any sort of, I mean, maybe a little bit. I'll talk a little bit about like relationships I've had, but like, you know, like it's just, I find that kind of language so disrespectful. And he just says it because I'm like friendly with a couple of black guys who are sometimes in the chat, especially Frederick. I think they just hate Frederick so much that if you're friendly to him, they try to police you by like being nasty to you in that way. But like he's always in the chat bragging about how he's race mixing all the time, like how he's pulling these black women or he's pulling like a Latina woman. And it's just like, why is it always the white guys who only date women who aren't white, who have like the biggest problem with women, like white women race mixing? Like, I don't get it. I know, Seesaw, like for real, for real. I was not raised to see things this way. Like, to be honest, and I've said it, like, you know, like, it's just, you know, my preference would be for some, you know, a white guy, like, but I'm not in charge of like what is gonna come to me in life. And like, I'm just not gonna judge a person based on their race. I don't do that, you know. I judge a person for who they are, you know, and that's it. And it's like, and if a man is a decent man who's gonna like treat me right and is like, you know, from what I can see, living his life in a decent way and doing the right things, like what, like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. Yes, I did hear Mark Udhake yesterday. I mean, I didn't catch it while it was happening. I was in a meeting, but like I watched it on catch up because, whoa. Mark was ticked. Yeah, I don't think, what is a decent man? I mean, how he treats me. How does he treat me? How does he act in his life? You know, how is his conduct? How is his character? Like, is he, you know, decency? Like, is he decent? Does he act like, from what I can see, with a sense of like ethics, responsibility? Does he have a relationship with God? Does he work on himself? You know, does he love what's right? I don't know. Like, damn. I love Fred. Fred is a character. He's so funny and he's so great. I don't care what people call me or how they like want to be dirty and imply whatever. Like, F them. Fred is Fred is great. I don't know. Okay, somebody asked me about how long I followed Rad Femme. Let me pull that back up. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. He said lies about you. I'm sorry to hear that. I haven't seen it, but I mean, you know, I would check that if I saw it. How many years, Ethereal Land? How many years did you follow Rad Femme? I don't know. What does it mean to follow Rad Femme? Like, how many years was I? I mean, I didn't ever really identify as a Rad Femme. Like, I always was like, the term is radical feminist. Rad Femme is some weird internet cult. So, in that sense, zero, because I never was like identified with, maybe a little bit, maybe at the beginning, you know, but I didn't like the cutening of radical feminism. I thought it was, you know, stupid to call it rad femme when it's radical feminism. But I don't know, about 9 years, maybe, close to. Because I started getting it. It was like a progression getting into that, you know, which probably started when I was about 24. And then I came out of it at like 34. So God, 10 years, 10 years. I think, you know, at the beginning, I was still kind of identifying as like a Marxist feminist. That's cool. But yeah, God, 10 years of my youth and beauty sucked away by a freaking cult. Mm. Mm. I don't know. I wasn't too pretty at the time. I was doing everything I could to not be pretty. Yeah, I was in it, you know. I was in that mess. I was in it. The feminist years, man hating and listening to Tori Amos. I'm not that big a fan of Tori Amos. I guess I kind of like the Little Earthquakes album. Excuse me, but can I be you for a while? But I mean, you know, it was it was awful. And I got deeper and deeper into it and just kept going, thinking that, you know, I just needed to do it better. You know, that stuff is evil. You know, any kind of ideology that blames any group of people for why the world is messed up or why you're messed up is evil. It's robbing you of your vitality as a human being. It's keeping you from the truth. and really doing the work on yourself. Because, like, I thought I was doing so much work on myself. And in some ways I was. But, like, the real work, you can only do so much on your own. Is that a heart-shaped English muffin? No, it's an S-shaped breakfast biscuit. It's a breakfast biscuit made by Stella D'Oro, an Italian biscuit company. I'm very fond of their little dry cookies. I like to have them with my coffee in the morning. These ones, though, I hadn't tried before. They're like a thick, crumbly biscuit. They're very nice to dip in your coffee, but you can't keep it in there for too long because it'll crumble. And then you'll be left with little pieces in your coffee. So, sorry, I'm removing my nail polish here. Yeah, radical feminism. What a mess. But yeah, should we get into analyzing the like crazy video I found? There was this video I found that was like, I don't know, this woman's channel. I've watched a couple of her videos before in the past, and like, I think I watched her do some analysis of, man, that glare is really coming through. An analysis of like Sex and the City. Now, I didn't watch that when it first came out, mainly because I was too young to be watching that kind of show. And it also just wasn't my area of interest. But I did end up watching it a few years ago on the recommendation of one of my female, like, Gen X friends. And it was like, I liked it to a certain degree. I mean, it's an entertaining show for real, well-produced, funny. Each of the characters, like the 4 female characters, are interesting in and of themselves. And I think they all have like aspects of their characters that women can relate to. I probably most identified with like Charlotte, but there were points where I could identify with Carrie. There were points when I could identify with Miranda, even, what's her name? Samantha. Although Samantha's character always like felt more like a drag queen than a woman. And obviously the show was written by gay men, and women don't even really act the way that these women do. Like, even the most promiscuous ones are not like this, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there's a lot of bad messages in that show, and there's a lot to analyze. So Dijon Pa is a Sex and the City fan. She did have some like amazing lines in the show, and I thought her character arc was interesting. And I loved, like, I mean, how she was a good friend as well. Like, she was such a loyal friend. Anything those women did, she never judged them. She was always there for them. She would stand up for her friends no matter what, you know? I love that about Samantha. Like, hoe with the heart of gold. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I dig that, you know? Like, if you really F with someone, that's how you should be, you know? And that's, I mean, I strive for that, like, with my friendships. Like, do not judge, radically accept, and love that person in truth, you know? Yeah, I mean, yeah, there were times when she could have been, but she also, like, I think she was good in that she stood up to them as well. And she was a bit older than them, and just kind of like, I don't know, there were aspects of her character that I thought were cool, but, you know, no, I mean, there was like that episode where that woman stole Charlotte's baby's name. Like, Charlotte told like all her friends about what she wanted to name her babies, you know, and she like swore them never to use the names. And then like they go to the baby shower, and then the woman who's expecting is like, oh yeah, this is the baby's name. And then like Charlotte's like, what the hell? You know, like, you stole my baby name. And Samantha walks in on them like bickering about it, and she's like, what's going on? And she's like, she stole my baby name. And then Samantha's like, you bitch. And like grabs her and like takes her out of there. I was like, yes, that's right. You don't steal your friend's baby name. I mean, how awful. And she's all pretending she didn't know. Yeah, right. I love Charlotte though. Charlotte was obviously. Yeah, you want Samantha in your corner. Like for real. She would fight for you, no doubt. She would have your back. She'd like, you could tell she was also the kind of friend that would like bail you out. Damn, what's going on out there? Oh wow, there's like a lot of people walking down the street. Is there a march or something? Dang, like I'm not used to this many people walking down the street. What's going on? They don't appear to be in a march. There's like kids. Maybe it is a march. Wait, well, somebody has a sign, but they're not holding it up. Maybe they're just going to where a march is going to be. Yo, what's going on out here? This is crazy. Okay, somebody's got a sign. I can't really read it. These are tiny signs. Your signs suck. Come on, guys. You're supposed to get a poster board for your sign, not like make it tiny. No, you don't have mamas looking at us? Okay, then people like carrying signs. Yeah, y'all, this is crazy. So there's like some kind of march happening, but I have no idea. A lot of normies too. All right, that sign has like an organ thing in it. I'm not used to people coming down like, why can't I read any of these signs? They're so small. Hey, no, hell no. You know better than that. Guy walking without a shirt on. What are all these people doing? Where are they going? Where are they going? Weird, okay. I guess there must be some sort of demonstration happening, but I can't make out what it's about. But it looks like it's a demonstration for all, I don't know. All kinds of people. Hezbollah simps. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I know. That's the thing too. Her, yeah. I mean, these women in the show were really terrible. All of them. Even Charlotte, like, I couldn't believe some of her behavior sometimes. Yoda's here. Hi, Yoda. The villain is he wrote a horror story. It sounds like a porno to me. A skinny femdom lesbian that seduces dipshit females into getting gay with her. After seducing them into lesbian sex, she turns into... I wonder what it will be. All right, we're not going to put that last bit up. You're nasty, Yoda. You are nasty. I love that Dijon Pa is a Sex and the City watcher. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it was anything. It's not like, because there's usually, we did have like a pro-Palestine demonstration go by here recently. It's just the area I'm in. It's not really common to have protests, and they're kind of walking up to where there's a high school. So I'm wondering if it's related to school or something. Nah, I think a lot of guys watch Sex and the City. It's an entertaining show. It is. It's very entertaining. Carrie pissed me off so much. Watching her back and forth with Big was like the most enraging thing I've ever watched in my life. Like, she should have been done with that guy like so early on, but she just kept like getting sucked up back with this guy who's like has no like respect for her. It's just so angering. It's enraging to watch. It's like, man, and she had all these like other men who are like so into her. I don't know. It really enraged me. Yeah, the actor's handsome. I love that they had Kyle MacLachlan in it too. I was sad his character didn't work out because he's handsome. Okay, so let me cue this up. Yeah, I don't know where to begin. Maybe I'll just start from the top. Wow. And now my sound's not even working properly. I might, because I did unplug my speaker. Sometimes when I plug in my microphone, it messes with my speakers. My computer, for some reason, reads my microphone as a speaker. You're disgusting. Like, really. I'm really tired of it. Like, it's so gross. Nasty, nasty little troll. My nasty little troll dwarf. He's like, thanks. Like, really? Like, really? Like, totally for sure. Okay, so this video is titled, "He Used Me as a Placeholder, the Truth About Why He Married Someone Else." And this is why I say to women, you're single until you're married. Like, and this is how men act. You know, they'll be in a relationship with you for 10 plus years. And I've seen women do this. They'll stay like with a guy who is perfectly happy to waste all their youth and beauty, even have kids with them, but not marry them, and then turn around and marry a woman that they know after like 6 months. And it's like, it was just not going to be you. So I thought this just popped up like as I was scrolling today as when I went live. So I thought, like, let's watch it. It's only like a 6-minute video. And I thought it was a video of a woman talking, but apparently like there's a guy here. We're going to hear what he has to say. So I don't know. Let's just see what we think. We'll have fun. We'll just, go through the gamut of what's in my watch later. But let's get in here, y'all.
Oh, you thought this person was with you because they loved you. Sometimes that person ain't with you because they love you. Sometimes they are with you because they are placeholding, waiting to find your replacement and wait for the person that's actually supposed to be in their life.
If you think that just because that man has been with you for years means you are his dream girl, then you are wrong. You may just be a placeholder until he finds his missus. I have a lot to see on this topic, but first, let's watch this video.
Well, this is about my cousin. Now, she's a medical doctor and so is her husband. But when they both met, they didn't live in London and they lived outside London in a small village community. Now, when she saw him, she didn't realize he was a doctor and she thought he was a healthcare assistant or a cleaner. Because if you live outside London, you know that it's very rare that you find other black doctors in predominantly white environments. So when she saw him, she thought maybe he was a cleaner or a healthcare assistant. And she was cordial. She would smile along the corridors when they bumped into each other. Okay. Now, one day he got the courage to approach her and ask her out for a drink. And she was like, yeah, why not? He's Nigerian, why not? And then she didn't find out that he was one of the other doctors in the other ward.
Red flag, Nigerian.
Now she was even more intrigued because she was like, oh my God, he's a doctor. That's great. I rarely see other people, you know. Then they started hanging out. And then about a few weeks in, they started having a fling. 3 months later, she found out that he was living with another woman. Yes, you heard that right. He was in a full relationship with another woman, and he's been with her, lived with her for 8 years. So when my cousin found out this information, she didn't know how to react. So she came and asked her mum, asked my mum, and other African aunties. We're Nigerian. So the only thing that all these African women were giving her advice on was, is this man married? Is he married in the court, in the mosque, in the church, in the temple? Has he made any legal attachments to this woman traditionally or anything like that? Is there a ring on his finger? She was like, no, there ain't none. They said, go for it. Pursue him. Don't stop. But she felt some kind of tinge of regret. And she asked him that, I don't think this is something that I can continue doing, knowing that afterwards you go home to another woman and you've been deceitful for the last 3 months. So I'm going to cut it loose and say bye-bye. Because she was so hurt, she then went on holiday for 2 months to Tanzania. And, you know, he, in those 2 months, ended the relationship with this other woman. To rewind and give some more context, this other woman had lived with him when he came to the UK from Nigeria. And if you know, if you're a medic in another country, before you can practice in the UK, you have to do an exam called the PLAB. And the PLAB is a very hard exam. So all the while he was studying for the PLAB, he met this other woman who was a Liberian, and together they moved in together to, you know, save costs because London is very expensive. And they did so. His whole family loved this other woman. She cooked for them. They used to call her our wife. All this big title without a ring. And it got to her head and she never actually realized we are not legally married. This relationship can end at any time. Hoping one day that he'll propose. He never proposed. After my cousin's holiday in Tanzania, this guy went over there, tried to pursue her, told her, please come back. I want to marry you. And he proposed and she accepted. Okay. I heard about this story when I was like 8 years old, when I was a flower girl at their wedding and someone was making a joke at the wedding reception. And I found out more as time went on and I got older. But as an adult, I now look back and realize the other woman's flaw. She stayed with this guy for 8 years, waiting for him to pass this exam, waiting for the timing to be right, waiting for everything to be okay, while continuing her life. And her clock was ticking. Her clock was ticking and she was so comfortable in the role of being this cohabiting woman living with this guy who's now a doctor, hoping that one day he's going to propose. And he never did. And all he was doing was biding his time until he met his match, his equal.
This is why it's not wise to be wasting your youth with a man who doesn't even want to marry you. And even in seeing this, there is more to it, because some men will express their interest in marrying you or even go as far as being engaged to you, but with no real intention to ever make things official. You know, it's their way of quote unquote taking you off the market. I know of a situation like that right now where this girl has been engaged for about 6 to 7 years.
What?
It has been to the point where she has even stopped wearing the ring because there hasn't been any further.
A 6 to 7 year engagement. Are you kidding me? What? 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 I need a moment. Mm-mm. Eat my little breakfast biscuit here. Y'all. Exactly. You know, if he wanted to, he would. It's not complicated, you know. But these women will like move in with a man, sleep with him, you know, do everything a wife is doing without being a wife, and then wonder why a guy's not keen to marry them. It's like, well, why should he? Why would he? Like, you're giving him literally everything that a wife gives a man without, ever actually considering what you're doing. I've seen so many women do this, and I even like, oh God, I have friends who do this, like serial monogamous, who like, God, I have one friend. She has lived with every single boyfriend she has for years, and it's like, and it ticks me off because she's like gorgeous. She really doesn't even understand like I don't know. She does know what she's doing. She's been told. But like, you're single until you're married, ladies, okay? You're not in a relationship. Legally, when you pay your taxes, you're single. The government sees you as single. If you die tomorrow, you're going to be listed as single. It's just, it's insane to me. It's insane.
Progress since the proposal. And this is one of the reasons why I don't believe in living with a man before marriage, nor do I believe in giving a boyfriend husband treatment. Ladies,
Amen.
the clock is ticking and time is passing by. A man doesn't need years to decide if he wants to spend the rest of his life with you. And in the case of the lady in the video, she was living with a doctor man for 8 years, splitting the bills, helped him with his study, and in the end, he broke things off with her to be with another woman who he has only met for a few short months. Ladies, love will turn you into a fool if you allow it. Sometimes you have to let go off of the emotions and think rationally. If that man really wanted to marry you, he would have, because a simple courthouse wedding doesn't cost much. And I say this because a lot of men love using finances as an excuse as to why they won't tie the knot. But if a man can't even afford a simple wedding, then why is he even in a relationship? He should be using this time and effort to get his money up. And I'm 100% sure that the other lady regret wasting 8 years of her life. Ladies, do not, and I repeat, do not waste the best years of your life with a man who will just use you until he's ready to move on to who he classifies to be wife material. Okay, ladies, that's all for today's video. Until next time, stay feminine and sweet.
Oh, more girly feminine content.
I want to talk to you about,
Okay.
we've been talking.
So yeah, I saved this. Imagination is the nature of Satan. I mean, that was a pretty quick video, but yeah, like, this is why I say it, I got into it with people in Joelle's chat the other day. I love that Joelle talks about this too. Like, you're dating, people think they're in a relationship. Their women will be like, honoring a man who has no intention of like ever being serious with them. They'll give like years to a man and waste their years of fertility and youth. And then like, it's just, it's dumb. It's dumb. And then like, he's seeing himself as single because he is. You know what I mean? He sees himself as single because that's reality. But women will be all emotional about it and think like, we've got a connection, he's my boyfriend. And like, meanwhile, there's all these guys that she could be seeing, she's being faithful, quote unquote, to a man who's not even her husband. When you could be like dating and meeting men who might actually, want to marry you and not just use you for sex until they meet a woman that they actually want to marry. Would I be for or against one of my old friends marrying Joelle? It's not the men, it's you. That's what I'm saying. I don't know what the fuck you're not hearing about what I said. What did I just say? Women are being dumb and irrational. Did you not hear any of that? I'm not blaming men. Men are doing what comes naturally, which is selfishness. That's how people are, but women think they're in a relationship when they're not. Men are being very honest about what they're doing, but women are delusional out here. You know? And then they turn around and they're like shocked when, you know, the relationship inevitably fails because, you know, it was never going to be anything good because you've been sinning for years with this person. I don't know what Yoda means about, I don't know what you mean about one of my old friends. I don't know who you're even talking about, like one of my old friends marrying Joelle. I honestly, I mean, I don't know of any of my old friends who might be a good match for Joelle. If I knew of someone, I'd definitely like hook them up. If any of my friends married Hake, I would never speak to them again. I would just like, you know, pretend that nobody existed ever again. You know that. I'd be devastated if one of my friends married Hake. Oh my God. Bev and Joelle. That's terrible. God. She's like in her 70s, y'all. Like, what's she going to do with poor Joelle? Yeah, I know. That's the thing, Cecil. Like, men don't really need time when they meet a woman that they want to marry. You know, they know right away. I mean, they need some time, but it's not like that. For real, I know, Cecil. God. But come on, my clock is ticking here. I want to have at least 2 of his little redheaded babies. What the hell? Oh my God. Enough. I've said too much. We need white babies. Oh, but I'm not white enough. I'm Irish. They'll be troublemakers and scallywags. Somebody said I looked swarthy the other day. They thought I was Hispanic. They're like, you look swarthy. And I'm like, actually, multiple people have said they thought I was Hispanic. I'm like, don't say that, C-Sal. Don't say that. Oh. I hate y'all. I know, they said I was swarthy. I'm like, plenty of Irish people have swarthy looks. They were a seafaring race. You got to be swarthy to be on those seas. I'm devastated. God. I don't know. If Leah wasn't, you know what? If Leah wasn't already engaged, I would maybe consider hooking her and Joelle up. Because I think she's like a year younger than him. And he's kind of her type. And they're both into like skating. You know, she goes rollerblading and roller skating pretty regularly. So they would have a lot of fun together. Thank you, Cecil. I know for real. I was like, what is swarthy about me? Swarthy mix, I think, Brendan Hughes. I mean, I think I can kind of like when I think of, there's Irish people who have darker features, just like the dark hair and, you know, dark eyebrows, the black Irish. I mean, I come from that stock, so. And I have dark eyes and I have dark hair and, strong features. Joelle seems to like older women though, Cecil. I don't think they need to have a lot of babies. I really don't think, like, I hear these men being like, I want to have 20 kids. And I'm like, yikes. Yoda, you don't know a damn thing about, you really don't know a thing about Bev. Like, honestly, I really don't appreciate you, like, making comments about her character like that. She doesn't, you're acting like she's some kind of predator, and I find it really repugnant. She's not. She's just a screwed up woman herself, but she's not, like, out here doing any of that. If you want 4 kids, you need to start at 23 at the latest. Maybe. I never said she was a saint. She's not a saint. She's a radical lesbian. She's not a saint. But she's not a, like, some kind of, like, seducer of unsuspecting young women. She's definitely not a saint, man. Bev put me through hell multiple times. But I wish her well. I mean, she's Irish, so she's probably a saint in that regard. Okay, so do we want to watch this video that I saved from Jesse? Ugh. I've heard a lot of weird suggestions about you, Terry, but I think that's just being on the internet type of stuff. That's funny. Cecil with a super sticker. Oh, I'm so generous today, Cecil. Thank you. I'm curious what kind of suggestions, because yeah, I hear all kinds of weird stuff too. And I'm like, how do you, like, the truth is bad enough about me. I don't know why people need to make things up, but they do. You know how it is. They talking about me because if they talked about themselves, nobody would care. So they got to run my name to get some attention for themselves. Isn't that funny? They have to use my name to get attention. Okay, yeah, let's watch this Imagination is the Nature of Satan clip.
A lot about the imagination and how the imagination is all ego. It's the nature of Satan. And yet a lot of people are encouraging us to be a poet, imagine this, get into your imagination, be creative and all that kind of stuff. And they're encouraging you to go into that hell. Well, in the Bible it says to cast that down, to bring the imagination into captivity. So that tells me that we can control the imagination. We don't have to live in it. We don't have to be subject to it. It doesn't have to be a part of our life. If God said that we should bring it into captivity. And Kelly, you want to come and read this for me? This is 2 Corinthians chapter 10, 1 through 11. 1 through 11. I just want you to hear this for yourself, all right? And hopefully it'll encourage you to get past that. 10 right here to here, to the end of this paragraph.
Paul's reply to accusations of weakness. I urge you by the gentleness and forbearance of Christ, this is Paul now speaking personally, I, the one who is so humble when he is facing you, but full of boldness at a distance. Yes, my appeal to you is that I should not have to be bold when I am actually with you, or show the same self-assurance as I reckon to use when I am challenging those who reckon that we are guided by human motives. For although we are human, it is not by human methods that we do battle. The weapons with which we do battle are not those of human nature, but they have the power in God's cause to demolish fortresses. It is ideas that we demolish, every presumptuous notion that is set up against the knowledge of God, and we bring every thought into captivity and obedience to Christ. Once you have given your complete obedience, we are prepared to punish any disobedience. Look at the evidence of your eyes. Anybody who is convinced that he belongs to Christ should go on to reflect that we belong to Christ no less than he does. Maybe I have taken rather too much pride in our authority, but the Lord gave us that for building you up, not for knocking you down, and I am not going to be shamed into letting you think that I can put fear into you only by letter. Someone said, his letters are weighty enough and full of strength, but when you see him in person, he makes no impression and his powers of speaking are negligible. I should like that sort of person to take note that our deeds when we are present will show the same qualities as our letters when we are at a distance.
Thank you, Kelly. So he says that we should bring every thought into captivity and obedience to God. And one thing I do realize is that once you
Struggle with it.
are outside of your imagination, you are one with God, and then you're able to do the right things. Do the things that he will have you to do. You're not subject to the world. I also notice that there is no fear when you have control of your imagination, when it's not controlling you. But when it is in control of your life, you have fear, you have doubt, you have worry, you don't have peace. Someone mentioned before we started that I was on BET this past week, and and it was funny. I mean, not funny, but it was interesting in that when I was sitting there on the stage, I realized that, like most of the people in the audience and most of the people there were going to be against me. And so right away, I could see all these thoughts telling me what's going to happen. If you say this, if you admit to this, they're going to shame you, or they're going to do this and do that. I'm thinking, wow, this is interesting how in everything that I do, I'm tempted with the thoughts about the situation, even before it happens, right? And if you listen to that stuff, it'll set you up to fail in situations like that. I now see why some people say things, and when they're under pressure to repeat it, they change their mind about it. They'll say, well, I really didn't mean it that way. Or I meant it this way, because the thought prevents you, it takes away your willingness to deal with pressure, to deal with challenges that are going to come because it put fear in you. But if you can watch that and have control of that, it won't do it. You have the power and the authority, as Paul is talking here, to do what you need to do, and you bring Satan to his knees, at least his children, to his knees. And so there are a lot of folks, I'm hearing it more and more and more, there are a lot of folks who are suffering, not because the situations are bad, but because of what they believe about the situations in their lives. They believe a lie about the situation and just bring hardship and pain to them because they have been told that their imagination is right. Get into your imagination, believe it. You can't believe, or you shouldn't believe anything that your thoughts tell you about anything. I'm brushing my teeth this morning, standing in the mirror, and I realized everything I do this morning, I'm gonna be aware of myself doing it. I'm not gonna drift off, right? And the moment I put my toothbrush into my mouth, I drifted off. Wasn't even aware of myself brushing, conscious of brushing teeth, just like automatically doing it, but not conscious of things that are around me as I'm doing it. And I'm thinking about how much that I can go unconscious. It's amazing how often that is. It's like you just naturally go unconscious without even realizing that you're unconscious. And you can tell yourself, I'm gonna be aware of this. I'm gonna be aware of myself. Anybody ever done that? I'm going to be aware of myself and what I'm doing. I'm going to be aware. I tell myself sometimes, and it's a lie because, I tell myself that when I do my radio show, I'm going to be aware of what I'm saying. And the moment I open my mouth, I forget about awareness.
Yeah.
I'll come back, but I forget right in that present. And so it's letting me know, though, that there are two ways of living. You can either live in this unconscious state, ego mind, with darkness, which is of Satan, or you can live alert in the light, which is of God. And I think it's amazing that there are two ways like that. If you start to pay attention to yourself, you discover that there are two ways. The unfortunate thing is that for so many years of our lives, we've been lied to about these things. These things have not been taught to us. The preachers have brought them up. They'll read the Bible, bring every thought into captivity and obedience to Christ. They'll just read that scripture, but they don't present it to you in a way where you can get some understanding about it. We don't have to be living the way that we're living, but we got to overcome this ego. We got to forgive. We got to overcome anger so we're not controlled by that. I'm amazed at the fact that we can live another way. I really am. And when you live that way, everything just kind of unfolds and works out. It works out for you. You don't have to worry about anything. And that's God loving us. He's made a way for us. I saw a couple of hands. Yes, sir.
I mean, this is common. Like, people will, use your words against you from years ago when you had less consciousness than you do now, or they act like you can't change your mind, and that somehow makes you a liar or a hypocrite, that you changed your mind or that you developed your awareness. But people are cheap and evil and stupid. So, I mean, you can't really, you can't let it get to you. It says more about them than you, really, when they're being that way. My poor nails are gone, you guys. Oh my God. Are you serious? Whoa. Oh yeah, I love when I used to do that for hours when I was little.
The mic is not on.
It passed.
Sometimes.
It passed? Oh, okay. Did I see another hand? Do you guys ladies see what I'm talking about? You see that happening? We got to bring these thoughts into captivity. And the way to do it is to first, you got to realize that you're in there by overcoming your anger. Because if you don't overcome the anger, you can't help but live in darkness. This other way, it'll give you it'll allow glimpse to come so you can see if you're a seeker. But you're not going to be able to really start to separate from the darkness until you can overcome your anger, until you can forgive. That's why God said, before you enter into the kingdom, you must forgive. You're not going to enter into this other source until you can overcome that. Yes, Kevin.
Martin brought up something very interesting about the thoughts in the little pre-Bible class. And that was that he mentioned they don't always come in the form of words. It's not always like a big long sentence.
Right.
Is that the case?
No, it's not always a long paragraph.
Yeah.
Sometimes it could be just one word.
Yeah.
Or one idea. Yeah. Or one little something that you did in the past to make you, focus on it. But when you're unconscious, and we're often unconscious, you don't see that one suggestion that's been given to you, right? And now you're feeling all worried or painful, and you don't quite know why. You feel a little sad or you feel a little glad. You don't quite know why. Why? Because you didn't see that ego suggestion coming to you. It can just sneak up on you.
I've noticed that actually. It hits like a lightning bolt, and it's just a second, and it conveys this whole idea. But
it does.
Yeah, it's weird how that is. And
when that happens, the best thing to do is not to react to it, but just simply become aware of it. And know that it's not you, and know that it's the ego at work. And the reason you're feeling this way is because something has been suggested to you, and maybe you didn't see it come up, but there was a suggestion made. Then you may have to go through a whole day or a week with the pain of it, But if you just be aware of it, eventually it'll work out. And after that, you get a quiet, nice joy, a peace that come with that. Once that is over with. But yeah, it's amazing. It's just, if you really want to know what the ego mind can do, which is of Satan, be aware of yourself. Just be aware of what's going on with you. It look like he get worse because it's dying, the awareness of it. You don't want to control it. You don't want to deny it. You just want to be aware of it. You just want the light of God to shine on it, because if you put any effort into this at all, it's all spiritual. Paul said it's not like human things that we're dealing with. We're really dealing with spiritual things, and we are not in control of it. And the more effort you put into it, the worse it's going to get. Let me take here first, and then I'll come to you, Pat.
But she had mentioned that Martin said that without thoughts come to you without words. What came to mind is the fantasies, the delusions of grandeur. That sometimes constantly the ego, you constantly want to see yourself in a visionary form as being great, as being a leader, as being something that brings attention to you. Yeah, and it comes in pictures, and. Yeah, it's amazing to me too that these things are going on within us, and we can pray for years. We can go to church until the cows come home. We can read the Bible. We can give money to the church. We can call ourselves Christians and not deal with this. You can live a whole lifetime not understanding it, not dealing with it, and the ego just drive you through life, and then you have to justify your suffering. You have to do this because you don't quite understand what's really going on. It is absolutely mind-blowing. But once you tap into it and start to wake up to it, you're on your way. Once you become aware of what's really going on, you're on your way. A lot of folks are suffering unnecessarily, folks. They're suffering from a lie. And the more you respond to that ego, the more it drives you into a wall, in a hole. You can't give it any play at all. Isn't that amazing? You can't give it any acknowledgement at all. You just have to observe it. Observe the not you. That's all it takes. And I was thinking, wow, it's like God doesn't really require a lot of us. All he asks that we come out of the now, love one another, and he'll do the rest. Be aware. You got to have love in order for this to work. You mentioned that we were traveling, Doug and I was traveling, coming back from a speaking engagement. So we get to the airport and we order 2 lemonades, and then we go sit down, and I'm drinking my lemonade and I could barely finish it. I had enough. And then Doug finished his and went and got another one. And when he came back, I said, "Did you pay for another lemonade?" He's like, "No, it was free. You get a second free refill." And all of a sudden my thoughts started telling me I wanted another lemonade. I'm like, wow, I can get another one, because it was kind of expensive to buy it in the airport. And it made me think that if I got a second one, then I'll be getting my money worth, even though I did not want it, right? And I'm like, wow, look here. Look what it's doing to me. And when I realized it, I did not go and get it. I was done with the lemonade. But it was interesting to see this. And that's what's going to happen when you wake up. You're going to see what's been driving you. And it has not been you. And it's driving you right straight to hell. And then when you start, another thing that's going to happen too, when you wake up and start, as Patrick was talking about earlier, practice living that way, the ego is going to go wild. There are going to be days where you're going to have to live with ego pain. It's like you're going to have to live with it until it's over. It's going to give you a headache. It's going to hurt your stomach. It's going to try to make you not want to function. There's a guy right now who told me he can't even go to work because of that ego pain that he has. And I said, you got to go to work, because the more you give into it, the worse it's going to get. Some years ago, I was under pressure at one of my jobs, and I could barely function.
What kind of man at work?
I could barely breathe. I had grief pain in my stomach. The mind was just going wild with me about what's going to happen.
I've met people,
and I could barely function.
Men and women. I've met men and women who have every excuse under the sun not to get their lives together, not to work. And a lot of it's all ego at the end of the day. Like they just don't want to humble themselves and do something that they think is beneath them in some way. Like I can't tell you the number of people I know who are like educated, who have degrees, who because they can't get a job in a field that they think they qualify for, they won't humble themselves to get any job. And I'm like, for me, I don't know. It's you're just digging yourself into a bigger hole with your ego by not working. You're racking up your debts. You're going to end up like that ego is going to drive you into homelessness if you don't freaking get it in check. Like, but no, I need to have a job like this. I'm like, well, why don't you get any job in the meantime, so that you have an income coming in, so that you're not destitute, so that you can, pay for your life. And in the meantime, look for another job. See, what's that? That's what they should do if they're like a really good grifter, Frederick. Yeah. I mean, if you're, I agree with that. That would be a better thing to do than just, be stuck like these people are. Oh, here come the sirens, y'all. They're probably going to bust up that protest or demonstration. I have no idea what it was. But yeah, interesting how ego will, the ego is supposed to keep you alive, You hear that from people like, oh, you need a bit of an ego, it keeps you alive. But like, in many ways, the ego will drive you down a path of death and destruction because you just don't want to face reality. You're not ready to get, and it's amazing to me how far people will let themselves fall before they will humble themselves, You will, people will like drag themselves, their name will be completely destroyed and they won't even realize it. You know what, guys? I have some good news. I forgot to tell you all. I'm an auntie. My baby niece was born today, or last night, I should say. But I'm the proud auntie of a niece. This is my first niece, my second time being an aunt. And when I first became an aunt, I didn't even know that I had a brother. So. And when I met my nephew, he was already pretty much grown. So this is exciting. I have a little baby niece named Alora, and she was 8 pounds, 8 ounces. So she's a big baby, big, strong baby girl. I'm very happy. I can't wait to send her some presents. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. Hopefully I can make my way over to that area and see my family and, impart some like love and just on that little baby girl. She got a big auntie, my little brother's first kid. I'm pretty amazed. Yeah, she looks like, she just got born. She's all red and, you know how babies look when they're first born. They're kind of nasty. Can I believe people abort babies? I mean, I've known a lot of people who've aborted babies. I can believe it. It's reality. But yeah, it's sad. If ego isn't worth much, then reputation certainly can't be worth anything. It's like ego only outside your head. Indeed. Of course it's evil. We live in an evil world. But let's talk about the baby, not the killing of the babies. A new life has been born. Come on, y'all. You don't need to bring it down with talk of abortion. Jeez. Like, what's with you? Yoda, she's not his wife. I hope she will be one day, because I'm not like happy about that. But my brother's girlfriend, a baby girl, a little baby girl. My step grandma was very excited. She was, this is her first time being a great grandma or great grandmother, so pretty exciting. And she's just been moved kind of down into Florida as well, relocated. All right, Yoda, keep it going. Yo, D-John Posh, shut up. Yeah, well, I'm hopeful. A new life is hope. It's a hopeful time, and yeah, I'm just glad to see that she's such a healthy, strong baby. And I don't know, I'm hopeful just to be a part of her life in whatever capacity I can be, as an auntie on the other side of the country. But I'm gonna be looking for some presents for her. Shut up, D-Champa. Yeah, my friend, actually, my best friend, when she had her baby, she had a registry on Amazon, and that was fun. No, Yoda, my brother impregnated a white woman. It's a white baby. It's going to be a white baby. We got more white babies. She gonna be a little white Hellraiser. Yeah. I'm kind of surprised, though. I always thought my younger brother but he's very sensitive, He's been very sensitive, and it's nice that he's kind of found a woman that, seems to appreciate him. You remember my little brother? Yes, it's my little brother, the Wigga. I love him. I'm very like, no, I really love my little brother. He's very sweet and just sensitive and smart, and I'm happy that he's got a baby, but I do want him to marry. His best friend is black. He still hangs around blacks. Y'all, what century are you in, Yoda? Seriously. That's not like, my family is all mixed up, okay? We've got all kinds of people, especially on my mom's side. Like, they intermarried with all kinds of races. There's all kinds of mixed race babies in my family. So I don't know what you're talking about. But my little niece is white. And she's going to hopefully have a beautiful life. And she's going to know people of all different races. Y'all are big as hell. We can't help it. I do think, yeah, I mean, my mom's side is quite interesting. My dad's side is interesting as well. But yeah, there's a lot less race mixing on my dad's side. My mom's side, though, like 3 of her, let's see, no, Nola's baby Solomon was Puerto Rican. Dorinda's kid is half Puerto Rican. Justin married a Puerto Rican woman. They have 2 sons. Mike had a Puerto Rican wife, and they had 2 kids as well. My cousins. Is anyone else? Anyone else? So yeah, like I think four of my aunts and uncles on my mom's side got with Puerto Ricans. That's why my family is in such a mess. It's basically a matriarchy. I don't know what you're talking about. I think, yeah, my dad's side too is a bit matriarchal. I mean, my dad was adopted by his grandparents when my grandfather died. My grandparents divorced, you know, very early on. My grandfather was just, well, anyway, we don't need to get into that. My family is proof that diversity is a weakness. You know what? I'm gonna kick you out today. You can go to hell for that comment. You can come in on your backup account, your rude ass comments about my family. What's your family like? I'm sure it's full of drunks and like divorce and mess too. Rude ass. I mean, and what a disrespectful thing to say about my mother. My mother doesn't dominate her husband. My mom's husband is like the leader of his household, and he's the one who runs things. Honestly, like I couldn't, you know, when I first, you know, met them, I was surprised. Like it's so nasty. Like he just assumes things. You know, and my mother was raised, you know, in a family that my mom came from like a together family. There were some things about it that weren't good, I think, you know. My grandfather was divorced. So my grandmother was his second marriage on my mom's side, but you know, they stayed together for the rest of their life and they had 6 beautiful kids. And you know, they lived in New York City where it's diverse. And so these people grew up around people of all different races and cultures. So it's, you know, Irish marrying Puerto Ricans is really common on the East Coast. You know, even like Serge, you know, I was talking to Serge privately and he told me he has Irish heritage. Like the Puerto Ricans and Irish get together. They're both island people. They both know how to dance. You know, it's just, it makes sense. Yeah. I mean, and I did live with my, uncle and my aunt. So my aunt Jeanette, who is Puerto Rican, did raise me for a period of time when I was small, and I am very close to her. And I don't know, I've also had I just had a lot of friends who were Hispanic growing up as well, but that was like in Alaska. I just naturally kind of, maybe that's part of it because I had people in my family who were Hispanic. So I gravitated towards those people, but like, it's dumb. I don't know when people think I'm Mexican, they think I'm Hispanic. They haven't said Mexican exactly. They're like, are you a Latina? Are you Hispanic? Silly. No, you don't even know the truth. You're being disgusting and you're making lies about you're saying lies about my mother. My mother's husband, my mother is married to a man who is alpha. He runs his family. They had 2 boys. Like, I don't know what to tell you. My mom settled down quite a bit and she's, you know, she doesn't run that mess. Her relationship with my father was messed up. My dad had real mommy issues, which he never overcame. My mother has been married once, Yoda. She has been married once. She's only been married to my stepfather. She has married once. And yeah, there's hell in my mom. My mom's got issues. After I forgave her, she became like way worse. Way worse. But, you know, my mom, you know, she went through things that caused, you know, her issues, you know, and then her little sister dying really impacted her very badly. Her little sister had a baby like right after I was born, and she died. Well, the baby died and then she died, and that kind of like was difficult to deal with. My mom went through a lot. My mom lives in Florida. She lives in Florida. Florida. She's from New York, but she lives in Florida. But I mean, you know, it's just rude, like the assumption, and then like, you know, my stepfather is a real man, okay? Like he handles his business, he's alpha, he's a patriarch in every sense of the word. Like got nothing but respect for him. Like he's one of the first, you know, men I think I came across that was like that. The men on my dad's side, like, well, my dad and oof. He never overcame his women issues. How does he deal with that? What do you mean? How does he deal with what? He doesn't really need to deal with anything. He's in charge. He runs the house. You know, they bicker a bit like any married couple, you know. I honestly think they like it a bit. You know, those couples that kind of like to fight? They be bickering sometimes. It's like, but my mom does what he says. She just bickers about it. Anyway, let's finish this. Enough talk about my family and this.
And I would go and do my job and just go back home and fall out on the couch for dead. You know, like, you know what, Lord, whatever it is, let it be, let it be. And then got up the next day and just put one foot before the other one and did what I had to do. And then eventually it was gone. You're going to have to live with it. Don't let it shut you down, because it's trying to shut you down. It's trying to cause you to give into it. And the more you give into it, the more life you give unto it. And the more you're just getting worse. It is really trying to get you to react, give into it. And it's going to be painful. Don't worry. It is dying, but you're coming alive. You're beginning to live. And don't worry about it, because some people say, well, when will this all end?
It won't.
I've suffered long enough. It's going to end when God says so. When the Father says over, it'll be over. But don't worry, be happy, it will end. And you go function anyway. And let it just talk to you, let the pain be there, but function anyway. I am Destiny Peterson. You can get involved by calling 800-411.
Stacy, we haven't reached the Donahue segment. We're going to watch Donahue later. We haven't gotten there yet, okay? So don't regret anything. Donahue is coming, and it's going to be good, I'm sure.
1-2663 800-411
Bond. I love that song.
There's a few things that are going to come out of this case. Giselle against her husband, the French dude who raped her and brought like 90 men over there to do the same. It's going to bring awareness to a lot of things. We're about to have a big cultural shift. And I've talked about this before, but there's a reason why besides just how horrific it is.
So the title of this video alone, I thought was so crazy. It says divorce rates of older couples are about to skyrocket, and that's a good thing. Like, how on earth could that be a good thing? And this lady I've watched before. This is the one I mentioned who's like done responses or analysis of like Sex in the City that I watched before. And I almost subscribed to her, but she like, it was a bit too feminist for me. Okay, so you don't, yeah, I do find that the presentation irritating as well. And I don't like the like, I don't know. Like there's certain things she says that just irritate me. But yeah, the title of this was just like, what the F? And so she's making it about this. And she's a married woman as well. I'm like, how are you going to be married? You know what I mean? And like talk this way. It's astounding to me. But let's see her analysis.
This case is bringing up so many important things that women need to be thinking about in terms of their safety. We don't talk enough about. Some other things I want to talk about that this dude testified today. I'm not going to go into all of it. I just can't. But there's some things that were brought up that we really need to pay attention to. The first of which is their age. I think we're going to see a major shift. By the way, Mose is home. He is delicately laying in his bed. Yeah. We still don't know what's wrong with him, but he is home and he's doing okay and he's not in any pain. So thank you for all of your support and love, and especially people who sent money for the very expensive MRIs and all these tests. Very, very much appreciated by all of us, right?
Oh,
still just a young baby doing his thing, and he can't walk for 6 weeks.
Shout out to
except to take a dump. Anyway, before I get into some of the harder to digest things, but also really important talking points in regards to this case, because this dude, the husband, finally testified today. He had little kidney stones. He's sick, just like Harvey Weinstein and all these dudes. I'm surprised he wasn't, whatever. Somehow, despite everything they do to the women and all their victims, they are always more sick somehow when they have to actually face any justice or possibility of. But she got coming out of the courtroom. They protested all over France on Saturday. I tried to go to one of them, but it didn't exist because the prefecture, they hadn't gotten permission in time. The one in Lyon didn't happen, but it happened all over 30 different towns to tell her, we support you. And also, it isn't just her husband. It's the family man. The family men are coming down. This is your moment of reckoning. It is not the Harvey Weinsteins we need to worry about, although they exist. It is the family man. It is y'all's moment to be exposed. Not all family men, but a lot of. So the support of her has just been, the artwork all over France. These glasses, anyway.
Oh God.
The shame changes sides,
so
right?
This?
That's why she's doing all this.
Terrible story.
Everybody else have to sit through this with her. Everyone else has to bear witness to what this man put her through. And all these men have to sit in the courtroom and they can hide behind the little masks and their, hoodies and stuff. But their names are on the internet now. Their faces are on the internet now because she isn't the only one who's going to suffer. The New York Times just reported on this, kind of summarizing his testimony today. One of the things they talked about, which I have been following, is that he keeps talking about how he loves her so much. She's the love of his life. And she saved him from a childhood haunted by and other things he suffered. The grape of a male nurse at the hospital and being forced to watch the gang grape of someone while he was at work. Blah, blah, blah. All these excuses as to why he just did this, because I don't know. I guess I just think I was this. One of the things that is so frustrating, I know that this lady's just doing her job, but fuck you anyway. Now, this is translated, everything, all the text I'm going to show you is from the French journalists. And this is all translated by AI or whatever. So the wording may be off. His lawyer is he's a man who has never stopped having romantic feelings towards his wife. She just loved him. He loved her so much, despite all that, And he even claimed that I loved badly. No, that isn't love. This man he is He insists that he loves this woman despite doing all this stuff. That is what's so frustrating about it. It's like he really believes that he loved her despite doing all this to her. Some people are saying on Twitter, again, this is, above all, we must stop romanticizing in order to soften what is neither more nor less violence. Like, as if like loving her is somehow is like, but I loved her anyway. It's like so much more insulting for you to say that, bro. Him insisting that he's just crazy about her. She was the love of his life. You know what? That may be the case in your mind. But first of all, men who you do not save men. Do not, if you like, please start to think of red flags. Like, as someone who comes from a lot of childhood trauma, including SA, as a child.
Girl, why are you putting that out there?
I was
why are you
really
putting
messed
that
up
out there?
until I worked really. I mean, I've been working on this stuff for.
Okay, now we know why she's freaking out so much. She's triggered. This makes her, that puts her content in a whole new light. All right, whole new light. And why would, like, it's just women? Why do women do this? Like, nobody needs to know about your experiences of trauma, you know, and it's just, it just colors how you view things. And the fact that she's even like so into this case, it's like, because something happened to her once, it's like she's got this need to see justice enacted all the time. Yeah, I know. Look at those insane eyes. Right, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, they take excitement in it too. And it's like they feel, I think because so many women, like, either they had something happen, you know, and nothing ever came of it, that they glom onto these cases and they're like, yeah, well, if this rape victim gets justice, then the fact that I got molested is going to be all better, you know, the world's going to be a better place. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, it's, you know, it's this guy, what he did to his wife is disgusting. I mean, I've only heard about it from what I, you know, gathered. I don't know how she only figured it out after 90. I mean, at the fact that there were 90 men that did this to her as well, or 90 men involved. Like, I'm like, how did you not put together that you were being drugged and like assaulted? You know, how did it not, even if it, like, you weren't sure that your husband invited another man to do it, like, even if it was just him that was drugging you and assaulting you, like, wouldn't you, like, how many times did that need to happen before you got out of that situation? You know what I mean? I'm kind of dumbfounded because, like, I don't know, like, it just, there's something about it that's kind of like, wow, I'm not trying to like victim blame the woman at all, but I'm just kind of wild, like, to me, like, that it took that long, you know? It's just wild to me that it took that long. I know, right? See, Sal, like, I know. But the thing is, though, too, consciousness hasn't been raised, really. It's a false consciousness that's been raised. You know, it's a false consciousness because it's only like part of the story. Awareness isn't consciousness. You know, being aware that something's prevalent or that something's going on isn't the same thing as having consciousness about it, you know? And there's all this false consciousness that's like, oh, patriarchy, oh, like, but it's deeper than that. It's a spiritual battle at the end of the day. And it's evil that exists in human beings. And it happened, and all human beings are susceptible to it. Yeah, you were out of control before you heard JLP. Well, I'm glad JLP came into your life. I feel like I got rid of a lot of my anger before I met JLP, or before I started listening to him, I should say, like before he became part of my world. But yeah, I do think he helped me kind of get rid of more. I don't know though, sometimes I still catch myself and I'll like notice that anger is coming upon me, and it's like, but do I have anger, like, or is it just something that happens, you know? And then it's like, I feel like I catch it better now. I don't let it get a hold of me. But sometimes, I don't know, Tar Baby Yoda ticked me off today with his nonsense. But he was lying. He was lying and misrepresenting for his little thrills. And now he has to come in on his stupid sock account with that stupid name. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Sometimes, yeah, you also get the message that it's good everywhere. Like, people think it's good and it's not.
Decades now. It is a lot of work to break the cycle of violence. But so many men will not do that work. They will have this traumatizing childhood, and I understand that society tells them that they can't see a therapist, and that's toxic masculinity. I'm sorry, bro, but like, I've been fighting against the stuff that I was conditioned to as a woman. You can fight against what you were conditioned to not do, like seek help, right? So I really want, I'm not saying don't ever date or marry someone who has a lot of childhood trauma. That is unfair, and that's it. Like, just like me, men can get help for this stuff, but the problem is that so many of them won't. They hide in their work. They busy them, or they find the love of their life, some woman who will save them from themselves, and that woman will give them a sense of purpose.
Yeah,
and all this other stuff. By the way, he attempted grape long before all this happened.
Like, what's
So
she suggesting, that they get therapy and that's going to make it better? I mean, like, that's the problem. She's like, getting help. Getting help isn't necessarily getting therapy. I mean, sometimes it's getting counseling from a spiritual advisor, you know, who's going to put it into context and help them understand that there's a spiritual battle going on. But how many counselors, how many therapists do you know that are actually even doing that kind of work, really? And how many of them are going to teach them about forgiveness and like letting things go? Because it sounds like this guy had some like troubling, traumatic experiences early on in his life that led him to be like deviant, you know, and into deviant stuff. Yeah, that's a good point. She's equating marriage to, well, a lot of people see it that way too, especially feminists. They see like marriage as this kind of like oppression of women. And when I was into the radical feminism, I saw it too. I was like, marriage is just, you know, female oppression. Which is so stupid, because like, I'd wanted to be married like since I was a girl. And it didn't have anything to do with like, you know, Hollywood or anything, like, or fairy tales or any of that. It's just, it's normal to want to like, you know, live a normal life and be fruitful and like build and, you know, dedicate yourself to a family. But yeah, it's crazy to me too, because she's married. And I'm like, what must her husband be going through with this woman? Like, he must be like, what's going on with him? Yeah, it can be oppressive. It definitely can. I mean, and yeah, it definitely historically, but like, you know, that's not a good attitude though to have about life, because like, it's not a good attitude to go through life thinking that like everybody's out to get you. You know, if you have that mentality, that's what you're gonna see in the world, is what you're gonna attract. That's, you know, as you think, so things will be. I mean, there are men who enjoy making their wives miserable, though. Like, you see it, like they hate them and they love to like make it worse. And then they're like, they get a thrill from it. And then they wonder why she leaves.
Demons or whatever. He had all of this stuff, all this trauma that he did not deal with. And when men don't deal with their trauma, we have to. And we become the victims of their unresolved trauma. I'm not saying that women don't inflict a lot of trauma too when we don't deal with
hell
ours,
yeah,
but
we
because of
do.
the systemic power that men have and the violence that is built into their patriarchal conditioning, especially sexual violence. When they don't deal with their trauma, we pay such a huge price. So don't think just because he's functioning well and doing okay that none of that is going to come back. It will. And you know when it comes back the most? In retirement. Look at this. So he says in his testimony, again, this is translated through AI. They said, the lawyer's like, well, you said you're very happy with her. And did you like her? I was crazy about her. Sorry, I highlighted this terribly. She was the one who replaced everything. I loved her enormously, and I still love her. Loved her for over 40 years, blah, blah, blah. I'm not even going to say anything. So another statement, someone said, the experts believe that you felt resentment towards her when she went to the Paris region to look after your grandchildren. We know that men get very jealous of women because they're the king baby and they need all the attention. Like they're jealous of their own children who get more attention from mommy, especially men who become another child in that family rather than an actual partner and a parent. So yeah, some are like, well, you're resentful for abandoning. He said, I never blamed her. Being alone without her is half.
And that's, that's why men need to like deal with their mommy issues before they get married. Because if they don't, they're going to like just recreate the same family dynamic. They're going to end up with a woman who is exactly like their mother. They're going to fall into being like a little boy. They're going to look to mommy for everything. They're going to drain mommy completely, and they're going to resent their kids. They're not going to be a good father to their kids because they're sitting around being jealous of their kids and the attention the kids get. It's like, and women need to recognize this too. Like, I always now talk with my friends about like, okay, well, what's this guy's relationship with his mom like? How involved is she in his life? How does he talk about her? Because it really is very illuminating. You can pick up a lot about a guy from just how his relationship with his mother is and what kind of mom he had, and a lot of men out here got mommy issues. They could be way older than you and still have the same mommy issues. Like, and men will tell you very early on in the dating process, because you just talk, naturally. You'll be on a date and like, tell me about your family and upbringing. If he starts talking about his mother, listen, because it's going to tell you a lot. It's going to tell you a lot about him. I mean, so women need to be aware as well. The thing is, most people are unconscious, and you know what? A lot of women love it. A lot of women love the power and the attention, though. They love being made into this idol for men. They love it. They love feeling worshipped. They love feeling like on a pedestal. They love the sense of power they get from like, the pull of their sexuality over him. But they don't really realize and recognize in that time, in that moment, that what they're doing is really setting themselves up to be in this position, to be mommy to him. Because that's what it is. That's true too. Yeah. How a woman talks about her father as well is like very, very important. Like, is she resentful of her father? Was he in her life? What kind of man was he? All of that. But yeah, people are, and also women have mommy issues too that affect their relationships as well. I mean, my relationship with my mom was like very devastating and really impacted me, Oh, that too, Cecil. For real, for real, for real. For real. They love, my mom is like that, actually. You know, actually, my mom's a lot like that. It gives her a sense of identity, you know, and life. And yeah, for me, I'm of that mindset now where I'm just like, I don't want to victim blame people. And I understand how people get into these situations and they're in them because they don't see clearly, you know? But yeah, it's like, you can't be walking through life with a victim mindset because most people are going to blame you because people don't like victims. People don't like losers, for one, period. Nobody wants to hear or look up to or respect somebody who's taken L's, you know, and that's what being in a victim position is, for one. But secondly, like, you know, you're the one who's allowing yourself to be treated like crap, you know? And in today's society, there's no excuse for it. Like these women who are, you know, martyrs, victims, whatever, like they put up with this, that, and the third. It's like, you have options. Okay. We have options that our grandmothers didn't have. You know, there's no reason to nowadays for a woman to be like abused. There really isn't. I mean, it does happen, but you know, again, it's as a person thinks, you know, people get themselves into these situations because they're not self-aware. And they don't recognize how they're putting themselves in the position as well to be violated, abused, you know, become a martyr, be victimized. A lot of women put themselves up to be treated that way, you know, and they don't even see how they're doing it. They're just setting themselves up for it. I know, like we live in a modern world, you know. Our grandmothers couldn't have credit cards, okay? When my grandmother divorced my grandfather, in the early 60s, she went through hell. She was in, it was a very different world. Very different world. It was difficult what she went through, you know, compared to now. No way, no way. It's like that situation was terrible, but like I'm glad my grandmother got out of it. And then unfortunately, my grandfather died very soon after the divorce. He was 28 when he died, so I never knew my paternal grandfather. My grandmother did remarry though, and I love the man she remarried. I mean, he's my closest grandparent, honestly, and he's so, you know, he was such a strong figure in my life. I remember being little, like he really was my favorite. He still is. He was just so gentle and so different than everyone else in my family. And he loved me, my grandpa. But yeah, I don't know. Like when you look at what women dealt with just a couple of generations ago, like there's no excuse for it. There's just no excuse for it. Like get the hell out of there. You know, you've got options. A lot of the times the society is going to be on your side, you know. No, you ask her that. No, those are just stories people are telling themselves, Stacy. There's no reason why an autistic person is more vulnerable to abuse or disability. I'm a disabled woman. I've got a physical disability. Ain't nobody gonna mess with me. I'm not putting up with that mess. Oh, yeah. Should we watch it? Should we watch the clip? We'll watch that later on. We'll watch that after we get through this. I'm kind of done with this video, to be honest. Like, I don't know. It's too much for me. So let's continue. This one's too much for me. Let's go to the Donahue 1989 talk show. What makes a person gay? Includes exorcist Joanne Hiley. At least I think this is Donahue.
Was he your first family member you told?
He was. Yeah, I got a phone call last February.
Did he know you were gay when?
Yeah, Dick came out to me, I guess, in 1980, before I was ever out. I knew, I think at the time, that I was gay, but was not dealing with it at all. And you told me that he chose to tell me in case something ever happened to him. He wanted someone in the family to know.
What are you talking about? How does being autistic make you more susceptible to abuse? How on earth is that the case? I'm going to need you to explain that. I don't understand. What kind of autism are we talking about here? What are you talking about? How is that? Anyway, these guys are gay, y'all. Look at that hair. So from 1989. Yeah, I'm intrigued.
But he had a group of friends that we may not know about.
Uh-huh. Did he know you were gay at the time he told you?
No.
No.
Were you surprised when your brother told him?
Actually, I was very surprised when he came out.
That's surprising.
Your brother?
Oh, you weren't surprised that he came out. You were surprised that he was gay.
Yes.
He's your brother. How could you miss it?
Well, we're 6 years apart, and when we were growing up, we were never close. I did my thing.
You got out of high school, he came in, and you weren't ever there when he was there.
Right.
And then I came out to my parents first.
I know, God, I wish.
How did you feel when you learned that your brother was gay?
Sad.
It's been an incredible thing between us. It brought us much, much closer.
Yeah, but how did you feel at the moment he told you?
I was floored.
Floored? Disappointed?
Not disappointed at all, because I basically thought I was the only one in the family. And to find out that I had someone else in the family that I could share my thoughts and feelings with made a great deal of difference in my life. It made me feel much more comfortable. And it made me feel like that somebody in the family I could converse with.
Philip, do I understand you to say that you think that there was a certain influence on your gayness exacted by your parents?
Some. I mean, I don't think that us both being gay really supports one theory more than the other. I think, we've got 3 other siblings who are not gay. And I think that it could either be genetic or environment.
Yeah. And how are your folks handling this? I understand you both raised rather traditional Catholic. Is that so?
Roman Catholic, traditional.
The church would want me to say that you don't have to be Catholic to be gay.
Right.
Are you saying, you're not here to say it helps, are you? It doesn't. It's been very difficult with my parents, and I hope that we at some point can get back to a family relationship that's giving and sharing. It's been very difficult, and I understand that. And when I came out to them, I chose to come out to them before Dick was diagnosed and before they knew about Dick. And
I came out because I was diagnosed. And I gave them all that news in one phone call. I'm gay and I have AIDS in one phone call.
I wonder how many people are getting that kind of bomb dropped on them.
A lot, and that was one reason
there are people who would never come out except that they got AIDS.
And I would never have come out to my parents.
And I wanted to come out to them because it was so much of who I was, and I found myself pulling away from them with everything. They knew nothing about my life, and I at the time was working for the Human Rights Campaign Fund, which is the PAC, the national PAC that supports candidates for federal Congress who support gay and lesbian issues and AIDS issues. And therefore, I'm political by nature, and every bit of my life was revolving around that. And I got involved in the issue because I cared a lot about it.
Okay.
So I felt I had to tell them.
Let me just alert this audience. Dr. Richard Green is here. He's a professor of psychiatry and law, director of psychiatry law and human sexuality at UCLA. Do I have that right?
Yes, sir.
UCLA. His book is titled The Sissy Boy Syndrome. This is how many? 44? How many people did you study?
We followed 44 boys over a 15-year period, from early grade school years to young manhood.
Now, these boys were, as we have rather flippantly referred to them as sissies, so?
Right. I use that term because no term better captures the pain and the stigma that these kids experienced by being boys in our culture and being different from other boys. They're called sissy. They wanted to be girls. Whenever they could, they dressed in girls' or mother's clothes.
Right. But you came into their life, professionally speaking, when they were how old?
Between 4 and 11.
So you had no idea how these young men would mature.
That's right.
But we presume that that all of these young men were effeminate, as we might say. Then is that so?
Or very feminine, yes.
Or very feminine.
Effeminate has a different quality of a caricature. These boys were really identifying like girls because they wanted to be girls.
Did they all behave? You say effeminate is different than feminine. A young man who lived, what is that? What did I just mimic here? What would you call that?
I think people call that effeminate because it's not feminine in that how many women lisp. It's a caricature of what some
Were
people
these
think.
the 44?
No. No.
Were any of them the 44?
Some. A few of the boys.
And the ones who didn't behave as I just mimicked, and I mean this in no disrespectful way, because it must be awful to be effeminate. I mean, I'm sure
as a boy, it's very, as in our society,
you get beat up, people throw stones at you.
You're stigmatized by the peer group. You're usually alienated from your father, because fathers want their sons to be little league stars and to be conventionally boyish. It's a very lonely time.
But the ones who didn't lisp, as I have mimicked, were what? Interested in Barbie dolls?
Yeah, the favorite toy of these boys is dress-up dolls and Barbie dolls. When these boys would role play in house games, mommy-daddy games, they'd be the mommy. When they imitate characters from television and movies, they're heroines, they're not heroes. All their friends are girls. They grow up socializing, being like girls. And of those boys, 3/4 of them became bisexual or gay men.
So of the feminine or effeminate 44 original,
not all,
only 25% became, as we would say, heterosexual.
Heterosexual or straight men.
So having a young boy who is interested in dressing up in his mother's shoes, who does it often, who cross-dresses often, who's interested in Barbie dolls, you're looking at a probability of a homosexual adulthood.
If you have a boy who wants to be a girl and speaks in the language of boyhood, which is doing it by dressing and by playing and so on, the odds are higher that that boy will become a bisexual or gay man than your conventional boy, but not absolute. There are conventional boys who grow up to become gay men, and there are cross-gendered or feminine boys who grew up to become straight men, but it's a probability only.
How do you feel about the Dufour's thesis here?
Well, I think as a scientist, I'm the token scientist here, I think the answer to the question, is homosexuality learned or inborn, is yes. It's a combination of both. And we, for example, in the sissy boy syndrome, I have a set of twins. They're genetically the same. Okay?
Are they identical twins?
Identical twins. But one boy was a very feminine boy and one was not. They had different early life experiences, different relationship with their mother and with their father, and their adult sexuality is different too. As long as you can find one set of twins.
You have identical twins, one of whom is gay and one of whom is heterosexual?
Is primarily gay and one is primarily straight. And one was a
primarily.
Yeah.
Oh, there's that
but there
word.
are degrees of bisexuality.
Huh?
They're degrees. Well, no, all bisexuals are not all bisexual. No.
Where one twin is gay and one is straight. And I know
identical?
Yes. Yeah. And I know families where there are 5 boys and all 5 boys are gay, and their family life was totally different than ours. I know boys who grew up, you know, the football star, the whole 9 yards.
Imagine that, having 5 boys and they're all gay. I mean, that's wild. What was going on in that family? I mean, I just don't think that's crazy. All 5 boys were gay. I mean, imagine that's your family. Like, imagine you're the parents and all your kids are gay. Like, wouldn't you be like wondering about yourself? I'd be wondering. I'd be like, all my kids are gay. What did I do? All of them are gay? All of them? I mean, you have to wonder, or was there something else going on? Was there abuse of these boys? You know, or was the mother like, what was going on? It's interesting. You know, were both the parents gay? You know, was it the lesbian and a gay man, you know, get together? But I don't know. I don't think it's biological though. I really don't. Like, I really don't think there's a genetic component to gayness at all. I really don't. Personally, I think it's totally down to like psychological, spiritual factors, and like choice, really. That's my opinion. Let's continue. This is interesting.
And I mean, I know.
Let me just make one point here. Not a few politically active gay people resent even the discussion or the question, what makes a person gay?
Right.
They see it as a prejudice. Nobody asks what makes a person straight. They see it as an effort to once again showcase gayness as an illness. And that promotes the stereotype, continues homophobia, and all the horror
I came
stories
on the show with a tape in my head to say that I don't really think it matters whether it's environment or genetic.
Or I think we have to ask, why are we asking the question?
Right.
Really. If we're asking the question to demonstrate that it's prenatal, before birth or unborn, is the answer then going to lead to some kind of treatment or some kind of cure? See, that's the danger of asking it that way. On the other way is the danger of saying, well, it's perfectly a choice, okay? Yeah. Then you've got the issues of whether it's sinful, whether people should be able to change, and whether people should have to change. So it's not so much whether it's inborn or learned, but why are we asking the question? What do we expect the results of the answer to mean?
Yeah. Well, why are you asking the question?
I'm a scientist, and I'm interested. I don't think it's anything more fundamental to human personality than whether we think we're males or females, whether we behave in the way that our culture says is mannish or womanish, and who our sexual romantic partners are. It's a scientific question for us, but the answers have political implications.
That's certainly do.
That's the risk.
They certainly do. I'll get to you in 1 second. Let me just get here. Benita Porter. Benita, you're 30, and you are a lesbian. You started dating women at the age of 13.
Oh, dang.
And you know what it says here?
She's a lesbian.
You came out to your mom while you were watching the Donahue Show.
He was watching Donahue and came out to her mom. God, what a moment.
Maybe we ain't so trashy, huh? You know what's fascinating to me, Benita, if I may call you by your first name? You watched the interracial lesbian couple, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
I'll tell you, there are people still mad at me.
It doesn't exist. It's not.
Let me just say that at one occasion we featured an interracial lesbian couple who artificially inseminated the black woman with the sperm of the white woman's brother, and they had a biracial baby. And the baby was gorgeous.
Her brother?
Can you imagine two women?
Her brother? Why would you ask your brother? Can you imagine asking your brother for some of his sperm? That's sick. Can you imagine asking your brother for some of his sperm, impregnating your girlfriend with it, and then raising your brother's child and pretending to be the like dad? Like, what's going on there? That's sick. That's so what, and why did he, and how did he agree to that? Like, what kind of man agrees to that? Like, what kind of man agrees to jay off in a cup for his sister? I'm sick. My mind, y'all. This is from 1989 and it's like blowing my mind. And things are even weirder nowadays, but like, y'all, I'm like, what? Your brother? Your brother. You went to your brother and asked him for some of his juice. That's sick. That is sick. I'm freaked out. Look at all the women in
You watched it, huh?
I did.
And you said to your mom what?
The women.
I didn't say anything. Actually, I was sitting there thinking, you know, she is a big fan of yours, or she was a big fan of yours. And after the show was over, it was very interesting to her about the interracial couple in general, and the fact that they were lesbians was really important to her. So she sort of said, well, do you think anybody could bend you in that direction? And I said, Ma, permanent angles, permanent tilts. And we got into this discussion about, and then she proceeded to name all of my girlfriends since like, you know, third grade. So she clearly had it in her mind and knew, but she hadn't actually said it. And I thought it was important for her to be able to bring up the topic. I mean, I brought lovers home from the time I was in high school. And there wasn't any problem with that. I had a much bigger problem actually talking to my siblings than I did with my mother. So she's always, every time she would see you on the television, she'd go, he brought you out, didn't he?
But did she not also say if Phil can discuss this, I can handle
Right.
it?
She said, if he can be cool about it, then I can. And
So-
that was her response.
So your relationship with your mom is good then?
Yeah.
Better than the Dufours with their parents?
Yeah, I've had, my mom died recently. And I think being the youngest, I was in some ways the closest to
I like
her.
your earrings.
But my siblings had a
They're
really hard time with it. It took my brother about 10 years before he could say the L word, before he could say lesbian. Right, liberal's not it. So that was really difficult.
Liberal, lesbian, anymore, they're both will get you booze,
Go together. But.
Aaron Kirby's next to you, Anita. Aaron, you're a 29-year-old gay man. You say you grew up in a normal household.
Well,
You've always known you were gay.
29.
You feel you were born that way? Do I understand this?
God, hold up. Let me get
Almost definitely.
He's 29, y'all. I am so glad that I'm a millennial. Camille Paglia. Oh, yeah, that would be interesting. I'll look for it. A good idea. He's wearing one of those silence equals death t-shirts as well. Look at that mustache. Yeah. Dang. 29, huh? Aren't we lucky with our modern era and our like skincare and our like we know how to say looking. He looks like, I mean, how old do you think he is? Yeah, he looks like he's in his late 40s. Like, I mean, there's somewhat youthfulness to him, but also, I mean, maybe thinking about his life. I mean, he's probably had a very rough life, and this is something that's really glossed over by like mainstream society, but like the gay lifestyle is not easy. It really isn't. People like want to pretend or like act like it's so much. Nowadays it's all way more accepted. It's more, people are more comfortable with it. You don't have the same stigma about it, but at the end of the day, the lifestyle itself is really hard. It's really hard on you. Like, so I think that can age somebody as well. Your brother was born in 89? So is Taylor Swift.
You've always dated men. How would you separate yourself from your own answer to the question from the others on the panel? We're getting here, incidentally, Dr. Green's
He's a radical
suggestion,
sexual, like
based as it is on his own scientific work, that sexual status is probably the result of the interaction of parenting, culture, and genetics. Appears to be the most current, widely held, or at least looked at thesis offered by the behavioral community today. What do you think?
Well, if that's the reason why I am the way I am today, then I'm very happy that that's the reason why I am the way I am today. It's in reaction to the Dufour statement, I do believe that your environment does change things. I also believe that environment changes a lot of people destined to maybe be a homosexual to become heterosexual. I mean, you're told from the minute you turn on a television that, close-up brings you together and all of this, and you see it. It's ingrained. You see it constantly. I think that probably your environment causes more about making heterosexuals than it would homosexuals, actually.
Certainly in real life.
And and certainly, I mean, we all grew up, or at least we did, in an environment with heterosexual parents.
Yeah. You know what knocks me out about all this? Apparently, the fetus in the first 6 weeks is girl, always a girl. You knew that? Oh, you're so
nature's
smart.
way.
I mean, I can't tell you.
Yeah, nature's way is to
people
make a
used to
female.
say, really? Now that, we know
I
that.
love these fashions.
Yeah, Adam
Now,
really,
6 weeks
Adam
later,
came
we
out
get
of
the
these-
big hormone push here, huh?
Right.
That alters everything, including the development of genitalia, the brain. All. We shouldn't be surprised that some people are going to react in a different way to the hormone than, right?
Yeah, and as some scientists
Really,
think
Phil?
that since femaleness is the natural way to evolve, and females are primarily
Female
sexually interested in males, that perhaps if there aren't the, quote, right amounts of male hormone, at certain times in development, that's what we see then as homosexuality. There are some scientists who actually do believe that. And there's some evidence for that.
There are more gay men than gay women.
Well, the Kinsey report said so, but the Kinsey reports are 25 years old.
What do you think?
I think there are probably more exclusively gay men, but I think that there's more. I think it's easier for women to have a same-sex experience because of the way that they're socialized than it is for men.
But they don't usually. There are fewer lesbians than there are.
There may be fewer committed, exclusive lesbians, but I think probably more women have some sexual romantic contact with other women than men do. Men have a whole different trip put on them from early boyhood. That you're not a man, you can't be manly if you have
girls can
physical
dance with each other in high school, in my own experience.
Yeah, the touching doesn't diminish them as women. It brings them closer together as people.
Yes. Joanne Hiley.
What?
Okay, Joanne. Here's the book on you. Do you mind if I tell this audience you're 56?
I don't know about that.
You should also know that you've been married 33 years.
33 in June.
To the one and only man.
Yes.
And it's been
fantastic.
It's been great. You've had a nice relationship. How many kids?
We have one daughter, Jennifer.
And your husband is here with us. We'll chat with him in a moment. Are you telling me that you used to be a lesbian?
Yes.
No kidding. Now tell me about that. How old were you when you got married?
What's up?
I got married at 24, I guess.
Yeah.
23, something
23,
like that.
okay. And when were you a lesbian?
I was lesbian from 13 until 23.
And you said, I don't like this, and married the man of your dreams.
No, I didn't say I don't like this. What happened to me was there were a number of experiences in my life that showed me what homosexuality really was. And that was the thing that I evolved from, I suppose you would say. Basically,
what was it really?
Okay, what I believe, Phil, and what I've found out in my life is that God has a plan for us sexually, and that you have to go by his way, not by our way. His way is that the male was created, and he saw that it wasn't good for him to be alone, so he created a female to be his helpmate. Now, that was hard for me to take at first, because I thought, how could that be? Because I'm such a wonderful leader, and I'm very strong, and I'm talented, and all of these things. But the more I've looked at the truth, I believe this, Phil, that there's no such thing as a created homosexual. We're all created heterosexual. And that because of problems in the family, problems in the home.
I don't think that we're created heterosexual either. I think these categories are false, period. We're created man and woman. We are created man and woman. And God has a purpose for that creation. And we are either under the influence of God or we're under the influence of the devil. And, people get twisted into, through various means, having a false identity. But I think the heterosexual identity to many degrees is false as well. Like the lustfulness of it, people talk about heterosexuality in terms, or they talk about relations between men and women in terms of lust, and in terms of just certain acts or things like that. When you hear people talk about it, I remember Perez Hilton, when he was briefly on The Fallen State, he was the idea of performing orally on a woman disgust him, right? You know what I mean? He said that. And it in his mind, that is somehow equated to what heterosexuality is. And a lot of people see it that way, wanting to do these specific acts. And I really don't even think it's about that specifically or what you lust after. That's not your identity. It's a complete false identity entirely. We're created as man and woman. Woman is created as a helpmeet for man. But we have different functions biologically. Shut up, Yoda, you sick man. You're a nasty pervert yourself. You're not any better than any gay person. You're very filthy minded. You have a complete degenerate mindset. So don't even be judging me about anything. We're not these categories of human trying to like act like these categories are real when they're not is part of the problem. Acting like there is a real heterosexuality is, I think, is just it's silly. You know, it's not, you know, giving credence to this idea is just, it helps fuel the idea that there's like other real categories. It's not real. We're man and woman, and we're created for God's purpose, not our own. And we all have different spiritual warfare that we endure. That's part of what makes me hot, Matthew. What are you talking about? Matthew, you wouldn't find me hot if I wasn't mean, so just stop it. Men acting like they like nice, sweet women in chat, liars.
So homosexuality is a bad thing.
It's not the created design of God.
Do people who are gay decide to be gay?
At first, they do not, Phil, because it's primarily the impact, as he has discovered.
Well, if they have no control over it, then why is it a moral issue?
It's a moral issue because at a certain point, there is the age of accountability. I mean, it's been proven, Phil, that people can have sex with anything. They can have sex with dead bodies. They can have sex with their mothers, their sisters, their brothers, with animals. I've had people attest to me about all of this. Now, the thing is, I believe that we have a choice, that we can make a decision about how we're going to use our sex organs.
Okay.
I don't believe that.
I don't either at all.
Well,
what is it you don't believe? Make your point, Matt.
Okay, well, first of all, I have no problem with the fact that she used to be a lesbian, because I know many people who are now gay who used to be heterosexual, who were married and have children and realized they are gay. I don't think it's a choice. I never made the choice. I didn't wake up one day and think, maybe I'll be gay. I think it looks more fun, and
I think what many doctors have discovered, such as Dr. Socarides here in New York City, is that a part of the whole problem with homosexuality is that it is a matter of suppressed emotions, and that it makes you appear as if you're functioning all right because you've learned to suppress these emotions.
But I don't understand why it's so important for you to bring this negative moral judgment to this sexual status.
I don't know why you call it judgment, Phil. It isn't judgment. I didn't determine it. You're
talking about repression.
Just a minute. I didn't determine it. I looked to what I thought was the plan for life.
I see. So God determined it.
Yes.
So God brings a moral judgment to this.
Absolutely.
And the judgment is not so hot. He doesn't like it.
That's right.
And you're claiming you don't bring a judgment to this?
I don't know.
God does.
The Bible does, sir.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. You don't have to be sorry. I appreciate your coming straight here, your comments around the record. I must break. You'll apologize for this. I do. I accept my apology for the interruption, but you will have an opportunity to chat with this audience in just a moment.
I don't agree that gay men hate
I have a question for the two gentlemen on the left. I'm wondering what it is about your environment that you feel caused you to be gay.
We were raised in an environment where our father traveled quite extensively and was not there, and our mother tends to be more assertive and domineering than I think a mother would have been if the father had been there the entire time.
Mama, it's Mama's fault. There we go. Mom did it. Mom turned her boys gay because Daddy wasn't there. Mama had to be in charge. Oh, got some emails. Oh yeah, I got my order delivered. Is that my eyeliner I ordered? Y'all, I ordered some nice red gel eyeliner. I can't wait to give it a go.
We're pretty much raised by our mother. It's that typical syndrome you hear about, the domineering type mother.
Yes, this answer will also make a lot of gay people gay.
Yes, it does, but I also feel that had something to do with it.
I think it does.
Oh,
in the
dang,
Two Boy Syndrome, I had two groups of boys, conventionally masculine and the feminine boys. The biggest difference between those two groups in the first 4 years of life was the amount of shared father-son experience. That is one variable that comes through clearest throughout the entire study. Less father-son time in the first years, more likely to emerge as bisexual, homosexual 15 years later.
That's exactly what we've found in our ministry in helping people out of homosexuality.
I never, however, wanted to be a girl. I never felt as though
Me either.
Okay.
I wanted
No,
to
it
be a girl.
isn't a question of wanting to be a girl.
First, I'd like to say, I don't think it's right for you two to put that off on your father. I think that's terrible.
I'm not putting it off on my father.
No.
I'm saying that I think that affected the way I turned out.
Yo, look at her bangs. Look at that. Remember when girls did their bangs like that? We had back in the 90s. I mean, this is 1989, but I remember the first time I got bangs, how thick they were. Like they used to cut bangs so thick, y'all. And it was so that you could style them like that. Look at those bangs. Girl, look at her bangs. And the woman behind her's got crazy bangs too. She got sideburns. They're called girl burns, not sideburns. Girl burns.
My father had to travel for a living. I'm not blaming him for it. It's the way things were.
Do you think that this is going to sound terrible, but there is any way to like avoid your child turning out this way? I mean, not that it sounds terrible. I know that, but
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
yes, there's a book written about Dr. George Rakers that's called.
saying that you were like this because your father wasn't around. Now
I'm saying that pushed me in that direction, but I like I said before, I think you're genetically predisposed to it.
I'd like to say that if there are parents that would like to prevent their children becoming homosexual, there's a book called Growing Up Straight by Dr. George Rakers that I would recommend.
Let me say that's essentially nonsensical.
I'm happy the way I am.
Okay.
That's a different point. That's a different point.
Look,
Dr.
I
Green.
don't think there's any scientific research, Rekers or others, including mine, that you can take a child and say we're going to prevent that child from becoming gay, even if that were a legitimate goal.
That's been proven.
It has not been proven. You're actually wrong. Secondly, I think the really important issue for parents is not to worry about their child 15 or 20 years down the road, but what can make this.
You have a little boy and he wants to play with dolls, or he's attracted to somewhat feminine arts or something. Like, I really don't think overreacting to that is going to create a good response. It's not a good response. You don't want to, overreact, because that's just going to create a sense of like rebellion and resistance in the child. Like, I don't think you should overreact, but, or be like, you should just watch it, be aware of it, and try to make sure that the kid is getting enough masculine, time, and that he's, finding ways to bond with his father or whoever else, that is going to be like healthy and productive. Not justifying anything. Shut the hell up. Sick of your crap, Yoda. I'm about to kick you out again. No, just react. Yeah. Just beat it out of the child. Take his dolls and burn them in front of him. I mean, I don't know. I don't really think it's that big a deal if like what toys kids are playing with as much. Like, I'd want them to have like a gamut. Or if a boy like is attracted to, I don't know, sewing or something, like that's a decent, useful skill. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. Or, if a girl is attracted to like playing sports or something, like, I don't know. It just doesn't. I think people kind of overreact, and in doing that, they kind of like project a lot of fears and anxieties onto the kids, which the kids pick up on, which makes them feel even weirder, and then so they feel outcasted, and then that makes them like more attracted to and susceptible to like the devil when it comes through other people. It makes them more susceptible to like wanting to connect to peers that may, be somewhat kind of drawn into that. I don't think overreacting is a good idea, because, you know, if you make your child feel rejected or like you have like this kind of anxiety about it, the kid picks up on it and is going to feel it. And that's going to make them feel even more like weird and different, which is going to attract them to like the weird and different. You know what I mean? Yeah, they did. Well, we were raised by the boomer generation as millennials, you know? So I don't know. They were the boomers were the ones that were telling us we were special growing up. They were like, "You're a special, unique snowflake." That was the boomers telling us that, and that's their belief. You know, the boomers were that generation. They really bought into all that stuff. They were the civil rights generation. They were the, you know, Vietnam War generation. They were coming of age at that time. The boomers, this formula is weird. Sometimes it just doesn't. Well, anyway, who do I agree with more, the white lady or the black lady? I didn't agree with the black lady at all. I agree mostly with what the white lady said. I had one disagreement with what she said, and you're like choosing to go off about it. I just don't think that the category of heterosexual is a real category. And when you identify people as sexualities, or you try to pretend that sexuality or sexual orientation is a real thing and not like a social construct, you know, that's where you get into like pretending that all of this stuff is real and not a matter of spiritual warfare. Because I think people are designed by God for a singular purpose. I don't believe that there's such a thing as, you know, like some sort of innate orientation. I don't know. I mean, maybe people are born certain ways. I don't really know. But I mean, that's because of the fall. You know, we all are born into a fallen state and we have to be born again. So different people have different struggles. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people are born a certain way, but I just don't think of it that way. And I don't like to think of people through that sort of categorization. No, I mean, we are born with innate desires, but that's not who you are. You're not your desires. You're not your flesh. You're not what your flesh craves. You know, you're not what you fantasize about. You know, those are feelings and thoughts. It's not your identity. It's not your real identity. And it's not a real category at the end of the day. That's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm not explaining it well, or maybe y'all are not getting.
Child happier today, tomorrow going back to school. What about the relationship with his peer group?
But
that's what parents can focus on.
Right. If the father with the tattoos on his arm and his chest and the bullet hole from World War II looks down at his grandchild or playing with a Barbie doll and the blood is draining from his face, what would be your, you know, I mean, there's all kinds of issues to this question. First of all, why are we responding this way to this kind of behavior? Second, where we focus therapy, if you will, is enhancing the son and father relationship, to teach the father that every little kid, every little boy doesn't have to be a little league star or a future Marine, that there are lots of things fathers and sons can do that are comfortable for both the son, who's not a macho son, and for the father. And you say that enhances what?
That enhances the boy's self-image, some degree of masculine identification, and if there's any effect of that on later sexual orientation, then perhaps I might
believe
also
that
change
it's mostly genetic, and that what you learn from your environment mostly is how you deal with yourself as a person. And if that happens to be dealing with sexuality at whatever age, I believe that's what you get from home.
There is no proof of genetics.
There's no proof of environment.
There is no proof of genetics. Well, you've already said environment.
I said it's a multiple cause.
I'll try to be brief. I had a boss who was married, had a son, got divorced, became gay, married a girl in our office, has a child with her. He does all the women's work, goes to business like a man and everything. What do you call this type of man?
What do you mean? He became gay and then married for
Married
the
for
second
the second time, had another
time? Did he tell
child.
his second wife that he was
She
gay?
knew all about everything.
She said, I'll marry you anyway, even though you're
right.
gay. And now they have a kid?
And he does all the housework. He goes to business, and they're very happy.
Which
Sorry.
one is this leading
Oh,
man
this guy is
And
on
he
the
does the
W show. We should
housework
have
and
him
he
on.
works. Where is this man?
Yeah.
I believe that it has to be mostly genetic too, because these guys wouldn't put themselves through that. I mean, it's no fun being against the norm.
Yes, but just a
I mean,
second.
it's not fun for you
How
guys to be standing there and everybody's going, you're gay.
Let me ask you something.
It's
How
not-
could identical twins then be separate and one be homosexual and the other not?
How do you know that one isn't? Maybe he hasn't come out yet.
No, there is no way. They've
How do you
proven
know
it at
that?
a Harvard University study by Dr. Vincent at Harvard University that identical twins, one can be homosexual and the other not.
I'm going to make a phone call to my brother. I used to dress up twin brothers, identical twins. I used to
Oh,
dress up
wow,
one of my
look at
brothers.
her.
I'm an only
Lost her
daughter of
sweater.
3 brothers. So I used to dress up my brother and put little wigs on him because I wanted a sister. I pray to God he's not gay. If he is, fine. The only thing I was going to say is,
Pray to God he's not gay if he is fine.
but I hope to God he's not. I'm just going to grant him enough beingness to say, okay, he's gay. You know, that's him. No, yeah, I know. But the other thing is, I can't understand this blaming God and giving him the responsibility that he made me this way. The other thing I was going to say about this,
Hours ago.
okay, these guys, is like, is it, I don't know, I don't want to get into past life things, but maybe in a past life you were a woman, you don't know, who am I? You know, you guys.
I'm not blaming God. I'm not blaming
I
anybody.
don't blame
I'm not
anybody.
blaming anybody. I just,
I just want to say, what about the parents? I mean, what responsibilities do we put on them now? All of a sudden, you find a father saying, "Here, put these gloves on and beat up your brother or something."
Look
It causes a different kind of psyche here. I mean, what happened?
No, we're not saying that at
No, but
all.
what happens when there's a 5-year-old son and you say, "No, listen, stay away from that"? But I think he's messing with your socks again. Put the
No, we're not
boxing
saying
glove
that at
on.
all. We're not saying that at all. What
God,
we're
it could
talking
get
about,
crazy here for the parents.
what we're talking about
It already
is
is.
not boys who, we're not talking about boys who occasionally play with dolls. That's fine. Or occasionally, we're talking about boys who are uncomfortable being boys.
think he's
And they speak
Italian?
in the language of childhood by only doing girl things. It's the unhappiness being a boy, not doing the girl things.
Why
That's
can't
the
Italian
problem. if you will.
I have to break here.
Like, what is it? Why do we got
To come out.
well, you have
we
to
were
understand
brought
it's not a very easy thing to deal with. You're surrounded in a
We were
society
also brought up in
where
a small town, Catholic.
Kids,
You know,
Yeah, but you have to understand that you grew up in a society where you see no positive role models of gay people at all. Everything is ridicule or
Slander.
harassment, whatever.
Or you call them
you have
They're what?
something.
They're played up for laughs
Yes,
and
they are.
situation comedy.
Yes,
you have
imitating a
something going on
gay
inside
person
that
is
you
a
don't
cheap
know
laugh.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, Philip. I assume you've been tested,
Yes.
and
I'm
you're
negative.
you're negative.
Yes.
Dick, are you on AZT?
I was on AZT. I have developed a disease called CMV retinitis in the back of my eye, which causes blindness. I'm on an experimental treatment program with a drug called foscarnet from Sweden, out of Houston, Texas, which stops the CMV. At this point, I'm not on the AZT.
Is that, voluntarily, you're off.
Right. The foscarnet is an antiviral drug, which also shows effectiveness there in helping to curb the HIV virus.
So the drug you're taking, the Swedish drug, is probably not FDA approved.
It is not yet. No, I'm in a test program.
I see. And when were you diagnosed?
A year and a half ago, approximately.
Yeah, you look pretty emotionally okay to me.
It changed my entire life and made me a much happier person and made me deal with a lot of things I hadn't dealt with in my life.
You're not afraid to die.
Facing that.
Not at all.
No kidding.
So I also don't think that you should assume, and anybody should assume that anybody
That you're going to die.
with AIDS is necessarily fatal. I mean, I spend 90% of my working life working with people with AIDS.
That's
But the other thing I wanted to come back to is all this discussion is totally centered around boys and men.
people were
And the issue is that lots of women grow up, and maybe women are more comfortable about themselves and their sexuality because they get affection from other women. But I'm perfectly happy being a lesbian. And my relationship with my mother was fantastic. I'm sure there were environmental reasons, and I'm sure there are genetic ones, but I think that you can't look at gay men's sexuality without looking at lesbian
We
sexuality.
quite agree. I have to break, Doctor. My apologies for that. Someday we'll have 3 hours, no commercials, and we'll be back in just a moment.
To be part of the audience, write Donahue
I want
Tippett,
free
care of
tickets.
NBC, New York, New York, 10112.
Imagine being in.
I'd like to ask the lady in the maroon suit. You're very fundamentally Christian now. And was this like a revelation from God that all of a sudden you're not going to be lesbian and you're going to go get married? Or what was it that decided?
Basically, what happened to me was I had a couple of lovers, lesbian lovers. And the more I got into the relationships, the more that I saw that there was not really love there, that there was a lot of violence, there was anger. And out of that, I determined that something was wrong. And so I began to search for what was right, and implying that God set up the standards for us, to me, is not a judgment from God. It's a benefit, because he's telling us what is best for us.
I know a lot of heterosexual relationships that have a lot of violence.
Yeah, let me say, as a
therapist.
with
the battered wives.
But I'm not saying, she asked me why I got out of
that. As a psychiatrist who knows a lot of psychiatrists, they're supporting their kids through college, picking up the debris of a lot of heterosexual relationships. Being heterosexual doesn't guarantee...
The debris of gays who entered into heterosexual relations.
No, we can't equate aggression, violence, and bad relationships with one pattern of sexuality.
Let me make his point.
Okay, you know what though? Like, that's true, but like at the end of the day, like the reality is a lot of lesbians, I mean, are angry. Period. So if you get involved with somebody who's angry, you're inviting an angry person into your life. And you know what I mean? Like, period. They don't have to necessarily be beating you or like it, but generally I've met very few lesbians that didn't have some level of anger going on, you know, just under the surface. Like, so, I mean, yeah, heterosexuals have violent relationships, gay men have violent relationships, lesbians have violent relationships, and some people who are in these type of relationships don't. Not every lesbian relationship is violent. But you know, what is violence as well? Like, you know, if we're just talking about physical aggression, what about intimidation? What about like emotional abuse and torture? What about like other methods? Like, people don't have to just be hitting you to be abusing you. You know what I mean? There's all manner of ways that people can abuse. Hey, I'm the one with the biggest wrench here, okay? Yoda, I don't like you I don't want to hear about it. I told you to stop talking about that act. I don't like hearing about it. It's disturbing to me. Please. It's gross, and you're obsessed with it. That's right. Silence is violence. You're right. That's the biggest violence, when they won't even talk to you. Let's continue.
Psychiatrists primarily treat heterosexuals with all kinds of sexual and relationship problems. There are gays who have good relationships and bad, and there are straights who have good and bad. It is not linked to sexual orientation.
I didn't do that, sir. All I was saying, she asked me why I came out of the relationship, and that was the reason. That was my personal experience.
Yeah.
What I tried to say basically is that the relationship to me didn't match up with what God had created us for.
Yes.
That the sex organs were made to fit male, female, not
Over here,
otherwise.
Well, I just wanted to say at this point, I'm a little confused why there's even a panel. I don't say, hi, my name's Ann, I'm heterosexual, and this is what I do behind closed doors. You know, what you are is what you are, whether it's because of anything, one reason or another, generic or whatever. That's your preference. And
do you have any interest at all in the inquiry as to what determines sexual?
Well, you know, what would they inquire about how I do it?
You're in a
You know, the way I do, what I do behind closed doors? No, you wouldn't. Right.
Well,
so why should I care what you do?
Yeah.
Really?
Can I get you tickets to another show, maybe?
Well, love how
I
like
agree, Phil. I
simple
think
they
we
try
ought
to
to
make it,
just stop
because it's
examining
like-
why these people are gay and just accept them for the people who they
agree.
are, like we accept
And
our
that,
friends.
Phil, that was my line that I thought before I came on the show, that I thought this topic is so tired we don't need to talk about it anymore. What we really need to focus on is how mistreated people who are gay are treated by this society, because people see us as different, and we're
However,
not.
I think there are repercussions to sexual activity societally.
Do your husband and daughter mind that you were once a lesbian?
No, my husband accepted. I told him before I got married, and he accepted me totally. I think my daughter had a little more trouble with it, but she loves me very much now and accepts me.
Yes, sir. For the guys on the left. When you were growing up, did you think about, or didn't your friends have you play basketball and Army and all that just because you...
We played those things because we grew up in a normal childhood environment where that was the kind of thing you did in a small town. I have to admit that I was never very attracted to sports at all. I did more things
And
like...
I didn't play Army, and when I was a swimmer, competitive swimmer for 12 years. I was incredibly involved in extracurricular activities from 5th grade on.
Same here.
Class leader, the whole 9 yards. But
I come from a country, we don't have a lot of, it's only just been brought out, homosexuality.
What country was that?
New Zealand. A lot
You
of
don't have any gay people in New Zealand?
Yeah, we do, but it's not out in the open. I've got a question for Joanne. Why, instead of knocking homosexuality and lesbianism, why aren't you helping people to accept it and come to terms with it?
The reason is that I have discovered that it actually hurts the person. Homosexuality hurts the person, and it also hurts society. So I have decided that it's better to call people to that principle, which is inherent throughout all of created things, that the male-female mates together and reproduces and makes after its species. And there isn't any such species homosexually. So therefore, I think it's beneficial to help people realize the truth.
Okay. The sissy boy syndrome and the development of homosexuality, is Richard Green, MD, is his interesting addition to a library of scholarship now about sexual status, how we get this way, who are we, and throughout this whole inquiry, Dr. Green and the people with whom he works are very sensitive to the issue of...
He's cute. I don't know. He's a little liberal, but I still would respect him. I know, she's very based. I'm loving her comments here. I love hearing what she has to say. It's been really enlightening. Also, I mean, I'm glad that she got out of it as early as she did, you know? And she was able to have a husband and a daughter and, you know, a normal life. Yeah, I know. It's a balance, though. I think, yeah, there were times as, you know, a kid, just my dad, like, was really not, I felt there were certain things I went through as a kid, like where my dad just didn't really, he wasn't thinking clearly. He wasn't considering danger. And like, I got hurt in certain circumstances, like where maybe there should have been more like safety precautions. Like, so I think there's something to, there's some balance between the two that's really important in kids' lives. But yeah, too much mothering and not letting the kids ever get hurt or scraped or like burn their hands, you know, or like learn through that kind of experiential pain is really a problem, you know, and it does really cripple kids as well. So, but yeah, I remember the first time ever getting on a bike, my dad just sent me down a gravel road, never having ridden a bike. And of course I crashed and I was like, it was so painful. Like, oh man. Yeah, women aren't meant to take this. Women are a lot more physically fragile than men. And a lot of, you know, our modern society wants women to completely disregard the fact that we're built completely differently, you know? Even a man like the same size and weight as you is so much stronger, has so much more endurance. Like, It was traumatic. I got hurt. It was traumatic. Yeah, I didn't get on a bike for another like 6 years. I didn't learn how to ride a bike until I was much older because of that. Because I was just like so traumatized. There were so many things like that in my childhood where I was like, nope, not doing that again. Oh, God. I'm sure there's some way to block this number. I keep getting spam calls. Yeah, I'm going to block this caller. You're not calling me no more. Bye-bye. Who cleansed the wounds? I think I did at that point. I was 5. I knew how to cleanse my wounds by then. Got scraped up. I mean, I didn't break a bone, so that was nice. But if I had, like, it would have been bad. Like, I could have so easily gotten very badly hurt, you know? And thankfully, all I got was, like, scraped up. I don't know. It's not, I think people dwell too much on their trauma and they should really, like, you know, grow up and, you know, get over it.
The prejudice. We do live in a homophobic society. I should say that New Zealand and England, from which beloved country we have just returned with the Donahue Show, appear to be less publicly addressing these issues than is the United States. So maybe there is something we do good here.
I'm also a lawyer. In addition to being a psychiatrist, I'm also a lawyer. And I think the bigger issue here is not the nature-nurture issue, but what about the civil rights and civil liberties of homosexual people in terms of parenting?
But I happen to think that your work and the work of your colleagues makes a contribution toward the reduction of homophobia. I truly do. I hope it does. I think if we give people light, they'll find their own way. I think the more we know about science, the more we accept Darwinian theory, for example, the more impressed we are with the God that I know you probably pray to every day, and also with the fact that there shouldn't be a moral judgment passed on this issue.
And a real trouble in this country when we decide to impose our morals upon other people.
Also, there are religious groups that encourage and endorse their homosexual followers. There's the Metropolitan Community Church, and there's Dignity Incorporated for Catholic gays in this New York City and nationally.
And we'll be back in just a minute.
Mostly, it's not even about them. It was all said with love.
Anyone would like to write to us, that was our address here in New York. Thank you.
Hi, see, I'm expecting, and I just want to know, you keep saying genetic. Should I have a test or something so I'll know?
There is no test, and there shouldn't be one.
If it is, would you have an abortion?
Right. Would you like, you know, I just want to prepare myself so I can do sexually ready.
Yeah. Just pray that he doesn't have gray hair.
I always thought I was very liberal, and I always thought people should do what they want to do, and it's none of my business. Right. But I did feel sorry for them. And I wondered now, how do homosexuals feel? You say you don't want to change, you're very happy, and you're very happy. Well, if you're happy, I want to start, not feeling sorry for you anymore.
Well, but what is the feeling?
What is the feeling?
I don't think no need to feel sorry.
You should feel sorry, but you might elect elected officials who, in fact, endorse civil equality.
See,
who stop federal funding for ATT.
The problem is not feeling sorry for us individually. It's collectively, I think, as a group, we are so discriminated against, and it is allowed.
All right,
by
but how do you feel about being homosexual? Are you all happy? I mean, you can't all be.
I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life.
I'm involved in relationships. I've been for 5 years. I lead a normal life. I go to work every day. I hold a job.
Does your lover have AIDS?
No, he's negative.
And you wouldn't rather change it. You'd like it this way.
I never have thought about changing.
Okay.
To me, have you ever thought about becoming gay? To me, that's it. Okay, see, that's an easier argument for. You what?
You thought about it.
Yeah, let me just say that a lot of times when I'm asked that question, have you ever thought about becoming straight or being straight? I think the best way to answer that is by asking that person, have you ever thought about becoming gay? To me, I've never known anything else. It's innate in me as heterosexuality is to other people.
Sir, what I'm trying to ask is, have you ever had a heterosexual relationship?
Yes, I lived with a
And
girl
you
for 2
decided
years
that
in
it wasn't
college.
worth it?
Oh, yeah.
It's
was
very
boring.
surprising.
Oh, yeah.
Because it seems like sex was created for procreation. Without it, if everyone was gay, we wouldn't have another generation.
There's plenty of people who procreate.
We're not in
And
danger.
I don't think sex was created just for procreation.
Okay, I always feel too that everyone should live his or her life as they so desire. But what about the AIDS issue? I think that's what's really brought so much negative attention to the homosexual community.
It has,
I mean,
but
we
in
really
this
have a
country,
problem.
let me say this, in this
Are
country,
you still, what about your
AIDS
sexual
is not a
activities with
homosexual
your
disease in every
partner?
country.
On a worldwide basis, AIDS is 90% heterosexual. Only in this country has it proven to be a homosexual disease. And quite frankly, now transmission among homosexuals is at 0 level because we as a group have taken the necessary
AIDS
precautions.
is a disease of acts, not of
bullshit.
people.
Right. You have to understand that
I'm
as a
sorry,
community,
but
the
like
gay and lesbian
nowadays,
community.
I'm sorry. I know so many gay men who are HIV positive. That's such BS. Even today. And so many of them are having unprotected sex. It's BS. Like, it's total, like, I can't. It makes me so angry. It really does. I mean, it's like, oh, it's at your, like, there was, yeah, pardon my language, y'all, but that's a lie. I know so many gay men who are like openly having the S word with other dudes, and they're HIV positive, and everybody's taking PrEP now, so they think it's okay. And who knows what else they're spreading around, because PrEP only is for HIV, you know, and it doesn't stop you from getting HIV necessarily. And, you know, and they all believe it does. I just, it makes me so angry. Like, there is this disease even nowadays, like, and yeah, treatments are better, but it's still not something you want to get. It's not something you want to have. Like, oh, it's, or the monkey pops or whatever. Like, you know, it's there. What BS? It's BS. Calm down. I will not be calm. I will not be calm when they lion. Oh, we've taken responsibility as a community. It's like decades later, and it's still rampant in the gay community. Like, rampant. Not all, but most. I mean, I've known them too, or they're like, they'll have it and they'll like conceal it. Like, they'll have partners and they won't tell them that they have it, you know, and they think because they take PrEP, it's fine, you know, he won't get it. It's such BS.
Were the ones who rallied around themselves because government would not fund any research.
And AIDS is spreading
when
much
AIDS was
faster
only
in the
IV
drug
drug
abuse
users
community right
and
now.
homosexuals, NIH was turning down grant after grant after grant. And then one day a hemophiliac came down with the disease, and in a matter of hours, the grant was approved.
Over here.
Once again,
Question
second
for
class
Dr.
citizen.
Green. Do you apply the sissy boy syndrome to females also?
Again, tomboys are very different from sissy. The word tomboy is not stigmatized. People don't tease girls for being tomboys. They tease boys, not in the same way as sissy. The word sissy is a pejorative. It's an angry, taunting term. These kids have a lot of conflict being called sissy, rejected by the peer group, rejected by their fathers. Their parents bring them to some kind of psychological help because the kids are unhappy. Tomboys don't go through the same kind of torment.
Oh, yes.
Anita?
I think that that's not true. I mean, first of all, I think you're assuming that all gay and lesbian people come from economic backgrounds that they can be shuttled off to psychiatrists or therapists. I think women who grow up as strong, independent, confident women are often ridiculed. It's maybe
They're
in a different
ridiculed in
way.
adulthood in the marketplace.
But
but
as
we
children,
celebrate little
I
girls
still
who
get
hit home
ridiculed for
runs.
my
We do.
I got beat up every day for 2 years when I was a little kid, from 5 to 6 years old.
For doing what?
For not going out with boys, for refusing to go out with boys, for not playing with dolls, for playing
5 and
basketball.
6 years old? That was some
Yes.
neighborhood you grew up
For
in.
not
Hey,
playing with dolls.
you know, you grow up in Roxbury. You try it. And I got beat up every day because I refused to go out with a member of a kid who was in a gang.
Well, I hope you don't. Can you tolerate the doctor's observation?
I
I
think
happen to think
certainly,
he's right.
but
I
when-
think we clobber sissy boys.
Well, yeah,
and
because we want our
think
men to
tomboys
be-
are cute. Tom girls are
Yeah,
cute.
until a certain age, until they hit puberty, and then we're supposed to straighten
You have
out.
to realize that his study is only a small part of the homosexual community. After all, the sissy boy syndrome is really there. There are many boys that didn't have those feelings at all
True.
that still have problems with
It
homosexuality.
sounds like a long question. I'll give you a chance to ask it in just a moment.
Oh, Steve flag. Wow.
Gay child, you want to be prepared. They're an excellent group. They're called Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. Yeah. Okay.
Sir.
I was just responding to this lady's question over here about genetics. If homosexuality is a pure genetic disorder, if you want to call it disorder, I'm sorry, but then since homosexuals do not procreate, wouldn't it naturally be selected out?
Right.
That's a very good question.
Right.
Terrific.
But they do. A lot of them do. A lot of
10% of all societies everywhere for all time have been gay. So
And I've done a lot of research on lesbian mothers. They procreate.
What
is your shirt mean? Violent People's Dead?
Yeah. Explain that for us.
It's a symbol from the derived from the ACT UP organization, which arose from New York. It's a recallance of what can happen if people are quiet and let a general genocide happen amongst the community.
You two guys on the end, how is your relationship with the female as compared to the male?
And you mean my heterosexual relationship?
Sexual.
You know, it was fine. We're very close friends today. We're very close friends.
Same
It's just not at all what I was.
It's not intimate, however.
It wasn't here. I mean, there's a difference. I mean, for me, it was like there was a piece of glass between the two of us, but with a man, it's very different.
I'd like to ask the brothers, when you finally came out to your parents, were they really surprised, or did they have an inkling?
Well, I came out first, and they said to me, you know, we never thought it was you. We thought it was your brother Dick. And I kind of rolled my eyes and didn't say anything because that was his choice to come out to them when he chose to do that. They were very surprised about me. They said they knew about Dick from early on. I think I knew about Dick from a very early age.
Yeah. A lot of parents know.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask the doctor, is it possible to go into a homosexual lifestyle just for jollies? In other words, I hear about a lot of these couples leave. Yeah, they leave. They leave their heterosexual relationship and they go into
just for a moment, then they're back again.
No, I think the
No,
barrier
I
is-
know where they've left after being married and had children.
I think the answer depends more on whether you're a male or a female.
And I
There are
think
barriers against males for entering into sexual contact with males that
And I
don't
think an
exist for
important
women.
point is that it's not just
Not
sex.
really. I think it's much.
It's about a relationship.
also-
It's not just, I mean,
a person who
heterosexual.
leaves a
This
marriage
is
to
not-
join a gay life is a person who was
I mean,
gay before.
okay, have we heard of bathhouses? What about cruising? Like, men can have hookups with other men way more easier, or have an experience, quote unquote, with another man way easier than like women. It's totally different for women. It's totally different. Like that's just insane. This guy's trying to act like, you know, gay men have all these barriers to. It's so dumb. He clearly doesn't even know what he's talking about. Like, and also like women just aren't the same as men. Men and women are different in terms of their behavior. Like lesbians don't act the same ways as gay men. They don't have the level of like sexual drive that men have, like a much stronger drive. Like, I don't know. It's just, it's so dumb to me. Like they're like, it just, again, cruising, bathhouses, there's so many, they make it very easy. If a guy wants to, you know, have an experience with another man, I think it's way easier than for a woman to just, a woman isn't just going to fall into like, you know, I don't go into a public bathroom as a woman and have like women trying to like, hook up. But men have that. Okay? I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, you go to the wrong public bathroom as a man, some guy's going to be trying to get you.
Got married, isn't that
The
so?
males, yes. The women may not be. The women
may not be.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think you both are too cute to be gay.
And we'll be back in just a moment.
For a transcript of today's show, send $3 to Donahue Transcript, 267 Broadway, New York, 1007, or call 212-227-READ.
Ooh, next on Donahue are women turning against each other in the workplace. What do you think? Has anyone... I've definitely had women turn against me in the workplace. I don't think it's like... necessarily, I don't think it's like, they're doing it, because I'm a woman or because we're women. Maybe Irish Repub, he's known, maybe it was just you that was doing it to those women, Irish Repub. Maybe that was just your impact on them as a man. I know, we're going to play Hake and Mark, don't worry. You don't want to work with women ever again. It can be hard. It really can. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think this is wrapped up. So yeah, let's pull up the, we'll pull that up and get it on here. Let me find it. Hi guys. Been on 3 hours here. The nails are painted. I've got short red nails now, short little red nails. I can't wait to like type this week. It's going to be fun on my little computer at work. I'm going to be typing totally differently. Doing everything is going to be different. Using my hands. You get used to the nails being long and then, woof, collar leaves shaken or shook. Is that it? Aw. No, Hake got shook. I'm assuming that woof. I like the woof thing. He didn't talk about his shirt though.
Mark in Los Angeles, California.
Why is it starting playing? That's so irritating when it does that. Okay, guys. We're pulling it up. I'm going to watch Hake on my channel, guys. I'm kind of embarrassed. Give me a moment. Yeah, Donahue is amazing. I kind of want to watch. Can we get Donahue on like DVD box sets? Can we get DVD box sets of Yoda? All right, Donahue. What? I'm like reading the chat while I'm talking. I know. Rest in peace, Phil Donahue. You know who? I found out Maggie Smith died as well this week. Rest in peace, Maggie Smith. She was lovely. I was kind of surprised how Hake handled it too. There was a number of times where I thought he'd hung up on him, but he let him back on. Like, I know. Well, Mark is usually spazzing out. Okay, you guys. Okay, we're gonna a Springer on. Oh, a Springer on DVD would be fun. Okay, let's see. Where should I put myself? I'll put myself in this little corner. There I am, little me. Or should I do that? Or that? Not that. What about that? Just all Hake. Or me in the little corner. No, I'll be in this corner. I'll be little. Okay. God, I hate those kind of things. Those trucks where you have to like, it's horrible.
Mark in Los Angeles, California is on the line here. What's up, Mark? How you
I'll
doing?
make it short and sweet, Hake. You're a fraud. You're a hypocrite. You're an ignorant man.
Why
that
do you?
scumbag from Phoenix lied about Trump at least 5 times, and you and that other dummy never called him on it. You censored me. You keep the devil on for 40 minutes propagating communism. My message to all white nationalists and racists, boy.
I'm not gonna put your message out to all white nationalists and racists, Mark. You got to calm down and explain yourself, or else I'm gonna let you go. Because nobody cares about Joe's lies. Everybody knows Joe's lying about Trump, and you're just overamped about it. So you calm yourself. I'm gonna put you back on air for a second,
Mama, hey.
and hopefully you can contain yourself. I banned him once, and he's never forgiven me because he's a hate-filled person, a fake Christian, a Catholic, an angry Catholic, and he's been like a bitter woman about it. Mark, chill out. Let's see. Why is he? Okay.
Yeah,
so
Mark has always struck me as like a bitter woman.
Let's see.
He's very female.
Okay, Mark, you're back. Calm yourself, man.
No, I can't. You're too over the top. You're fooling the crowd. You're pro-Negro. You're pro-communist. You censor white nationalists like me.
I should. You got to calm down, though. Take a breath.
He's got
Take a breath, Mark.
Quieted.
Be a man, Mark.
I don't believe in. Am I on?
Yeah, you're back on.
Okay, I don't believe in censorship. What I'm advocating is for every white nationalist to boycott.
Not gonna let you on my air to be saying stuff like that. Mark, be a man. I took him back off air because he's trying to put out his agenda. He comes on my show not because he loves me. He pretends. He says, "Oh, I love you, Hake." No, you don't. You're every bit as much of a snake as my snake caller, Joe from Phoenix. You're just angry and Irish. And he's angry and communist.
Am I on?
You're back on.
Okay, you allow the devil a 40-minute platform without challenge to his lies.
When was this?
That yesterday.
That was not yet. It was not 40 minutes. You're lying now.
Oh, 30 minutes.
It was not even 30 minutes.
I challenge that.
Yeah.
But besides that, he called Trump a rapist, and Trump was never even charged with rape.
I know.
You were too stupid
we
to
know that.
challenge him on it. You were too stupid to challenge him
Why
on
should
it.
I? It's no challenge.
Because he lied.
So what? People lie.
So lies are okay. You don't get censored if you're a Negro communist.
You got to calm yourself.
Poor Joe.
I put him back on hold for a second. For a few seconds. You would think that he would calm down after a few. Well, maybe he'll calm down after a month
it
or two.
hurts every time.
It's like an angry girlfriend, you know. An angry girlfriend. Leave him alone. Oh, honey, why are you sad? Don't call your girlfriends honey, kids. Don't have girlfriends, kids. 16.
All right.
Okay, so we established that I let him lie because we all know that that's a lie to call Trump a R-wordist. Here, let me put him back on here.
Okay, I'll try to calm down, but
Thank
that
you.
doesn't make your evil any less. You're an evil man. Okay, I'm saying it in a calm way.
And so are you.
You're an evil man.
So are
You're
you.
an evil man, and I don't love you. I take it all back.
Right.
Because
you never loved me. You never had any love.
See, right? No, you don't know what I think.
I know what you think.
I know that you hide behind the Bible, and you're going to pay for that when you die someday. You're going to pay for your phoniness.
All right, well, back at you.
Well, I don't lie.
Yes, you do.
I haven't lied about anything.
Yeah, huh?
Name one.
You lied that you believe in Jesus.
Oh, I definitely do.
No, you
How
don't.
do you know what I believe?
Because you would believe what Jesus said.
Okay, do you read? Don't hide behind the Bible.
Do you believe what Jesus
when
said?
it comes to racial issues,
No. We're exposing your lie. You believe
There
in
isn't
Jesus.
any.
You believe in Jesus.
How do you know what I believe in?
Because you don't believe in. You don't believe what.
Albert about racial issues. I don't understand it. Like, I don't think he's been very clear if you like just watch and listen to him, it's been very clear. I don't think his message really has changed much. Maybe he's less like, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't get it. It's
Jesus said.
Oh, okay. Are you Jesus?
I'm not. I don't have to be Jesus to know that you don't believe in loving your enemy.
When I die, I'll let him judge me.
No. We're judging you right now.
This is a way
We're judging you right now.
No.
Yes.
For
you challenged me. You challenged me to expose one lie from you. I'm exposing one lie from you.
You will never censor or ban Satan from Phoenix.
I don't have to.
You will never censor.
I'm putting him back on hold.
Well, Joe isn't so like vicious either. Like Joe can
calm down. Who cares about the snake from Phoenix?
Nasty like this. Yeah, he is. He's really good at stirring the pot. For real. He knows
one lie
how to make
from Mark from Los Angeles.
He knows how to make the best of it.
The same lie Joe from Phoenix also calls himself a Christian.
Yeah. Oh, he
does not believe in loving his enemy.
He acts innocent. He's really good though at like.
Do you believe in loving your enemy, Mark? You are on air. I just put him on hold again. He's still yapping. You're acting like Maze. I put you. Mark, you're on hold. Nobody's hearing you. The heck? Hey, can none of your black collars treat you this way? Says Handyman 540. Oh yeah, they do. They're every bit as satanic as this.
He is a white.
You're on hold, Mark. You're not on air.
What, are you afraid to put me on the air?
Yes, because you're psycho. You try to tell the whites not to listen to Hake.
That's right.
Yeah, see, so why should I even take your call, Mark? If you have nothing but ill will for me, why shouldn't I ban you?
And you
Mark,
40 minutes of it.
Complain about 40 minutes like a scorned woman. Mark. The lie. Do you believe in loving your enemy?
No.
Okay, well then okay. I put him back on hold. Jesus said, love your enemy. He said, I don't believe in loving your enemy. Mark did. But he claims that he believes in Jesus.
And
Mark, hey Mark, explain yourself. You claim to believe in Jesus, but you don't believe in what Jesus said.
I hate my enemy.
All
and
right.
The enemy is communism, and the enemy is race mixing. And
so you don't actually believe in Jesus.
Is a race mixer and a
We've already heard this over and over and over again.
What's Joe?
It's like Joe's from Phoenix's
not
calls.
to be a race mixer.
It's the same call over and over and over again.
It doesn't matter who he's going to get.
I put him back on hold just because he's repeating this thing. This show is R-worded. Mark.
I'm here.
Okay. So
I gotta say
how do you
one thing
explain?
first.
No, we're not going to let you say anything because you're just going to
Okay,
say,
you're
don't
gonna
listen to hate.
censor me.
I will, of
Handyman
course. Why shouldn't I censor you? Hey, Mark, how do you explain rejecting what Jesus said, but thinking that you believe in Jesus said?
Myself to you on.
If you've ever picked that up, but the way Joe talks about like black women is like really disparaging. He really doesn't seem to like them at all. And like a lot of blacks. So Joe wants to wear Hank skin for his birthday. Who doesn't? Where does Hank stand on Trump? I mean, he supports Trump, the great white hope. This was your favorite Mark call? I don't know. It was kind of like, I don't know. When I'm still kind of, it's, I don't know. I mean, if you don't know who Mark is, I don't feel like you get really a sense of this call. You kind of have to know about him. And he doesn't say much. It's just funny. It was fun to watch Hake like put him on mute though. Look, and he said he was shaken or shook. Oh, hey.
On religious issues.
Well, then you just don't have to explain your lie.
Accept Jesus. Do you love the devil?
No.
He was a man.
No, I don't think
He was
so.
a man, Lucifer. He was a man.
Lucifer was
Do you
not a
love all
man,
men?
man.
You don't. When you say you love all men, you're lying.
I didn't say that I love all men or not.
Well, you say forgive your enemy. A lot of men are my enemy. Like that devil from Phoenix, Candyman 450, the white hater.
Right, but
All
your enemy is
demons-
inside of you, possessing you, causing you to go crazy.
God made them a certain color by telling us, beware.
Lord.
Beware of these evil people.
You don't think
And
that the devil?
Handyman
You don't think that the
450
devil
one
is
of them.
trickier than that?
No, I don't know. Do you speak for Satan?
I can tell you that
I
the
think
devil
you
is
do.
tricky.
No, I think you do.
Right.
I really do.
Yeah. So
when you give Satan
so is Satan
40 minutes
inside of
on
you?
your air, you're the devil.
Is Satan inside of you?
Absolutely not.
How do you figure?
Because I'm not a race mixer and I'm not a communist. Unlike you.
Those are only two things that are bad.
Those are the only two things I hate.
Well, then you're a sucker. But
No,
anyway,
you're the sucker.
okay.
You
Well, I'm a
getting
sucker
suckered
too.
by the con man Joe. That's a con man right there. He gets unfettered time to lie. And your friend
He's so
didn't even
jealous.
have the
It's
common sense to answer my question. Because he's a coward too. Krishan the Don is a fraud. He's a fraud like you.
Why are you so antagonistic today?
Because you censored me and you don't censor the communist Negro.
The only
You don't
thing that
censor-
Communist
you need to take Handyman 450 off the comment section. He's the devil too.
Let's
He hates white
let's
people.
calm down. No. Let's calm down with the calling out the chat. Oh,
Oh, no, I got you. They call me out. Lady Lewis, another scumbag.
I'm gonna hang up on you, Mark. I'm gonna
Another scumbag.
I just told him what not to do, and he does it. Very disrespectful. Hake, is it something on my face that says, is it these puppy dog eyes? Disrespect me. Disrespect the show. I tell you what not to do, and you just turn around and do it. Stop it. Mark, I'm going to give you
I love when he says stop.
Mark, I'm giving you 30 seconds, but I am definitely going to censor you if you say something that I just asked you not to say.
Okay, what do you want? What's the question?
I don't know. Just last words for today. Last words for today. Call me another day. Go ahead.
Okay, my last word. Are you going to give me a minute to say it?
But I am going to censor you if you say don't watch Hake, Whites. I'm going to censor you if you call out the chat. I told you not to call out the chat. You started to. I'm liable to hang up on you, but say your piece, and I'll do my best not to hang up on you.
Well, okay, I will. The reason I called today, because I was never going to call, but I got so many people in the comment section saying, well, don't be cowardly. And of course, your Negro friends are all glad that I'm not calling anymore, and they can go to you know where. But I don't care if you blank me out or what do you call it, ban me for this. It'll just show your hypocrisy. You have never banned the snakes in Phoenix. You have never censored the snakes in Phoenix. Think about that, white men that are listening to my voice.
I hung up on him because he's trying to hint at like not
voice.
watching
Oh,
Hake anymore.
man, what a dork.
And I'm not trying to.
Ugh.
I know it's black to say this. I'm not trying to have people on my show telling people not to watch my show. Mark, we love you, man. Hake is a little swifty. But thank you, Mark.
Well, that was fun. Oh, wait, it's another.
I'm protecting him from being banned. Really. Do the silent prayer. Hake is so lame. All right, so.
Enough. Okay. Well, that was fun. Did y'all enjoy watching that again? How did y'all think about that? What's the significance of Bond on his microphone? I mean, he's in the Bond studio. Hake is part of the JLP network. He works at Bond. He's an employee. He has his own show that he streams from the studio, and then he also produces the Church with Jesse Lee Peterson on Sundays. So yeah, he's an employee. He worked there. He's part of that. That's the same microphone that Jesse uses on his show. And Joel on his show, and the American Anchor Baby on his show. He drank 2 boba bubble teas. He was having boba the other day. He was bragging about it in chat. I forgot to ask what flavor, though. Y'all got me watching Hake. You can't be having me watch Hake, y'all. Hake. That Hake. What am I going to do? Are my nails done? I don't know. It's nice having little red nails, little square red nails. All the Banditos are key awesome. That's true. There is a whole lot of mess going on in this world. You're right. Whole lot of mess going on today. I never like anyone Terry likes. Aw, what do you mean? You don't like anyone I like? How is that possible? We both like Donahue. We were just watching Donahue. We both love Phil. Good old Phil Donahue. Paul, oh, you mean my crushes. My crushes. Okay, Paul Rubens. That was my first crush, you guys. That's not fair. Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro. I wonder what he's up to. Pull up Ben. Oh, Ben. Ben. Oh, Phil is live. Phil's doing a test live stream. Phil Chandler, who was on the Terri Strange channel. And now I'm getting recommendations for other Phil Donahue episodes. That's exciting. Should we watch more episodes of Phil Donahue in the future? What do you guys think?
Well, you've seen them on television. They were...
I'm interested. Women leave their husbands for other women. That would be an interesting one to watch. Ooh, Sally Jesse Raphael. Did anybody watch Sally Jesse growing up? I sure did. Ooh, Boy George and Culture Club on the Phil Donahue show. Mulattoes who pass for white. Catholic priest sex abuse. What color was Jesus? Oh my God, you guys. Yeah, I'm going to be saving these. We should do like Donahue episodes on the Terri Strange channel. Donahue chill streams. Let me chew on those pale fingers. What the hell? What the hell? Are my fingers pale? I guess they are. Yeah, they are very white. Very white. I know. It's so mean. I miss my nails, you guys. I cut them all off today. I miss my claws. But it was meant to be. And I'm going to have to be dealing with this thumb for a while. My thumb's going to be I'm going to have to baby it. It's been getting caught on everything. And I know it's just, it's going to be a hassle growing it out. These white girls drive me nuts. Yeah, Stacey mentioned Camille Paglia on the Phil Donahue show. I would be interested in that for sure. Benny Hinn is Jewish, Palestinian, American, and Canadian. I had no idea. Wow, what a guy. I haven't seen Benny Hinn in a long time. Court would take me to a Hank Jr. show and then do a live stream with me for a day. What about dinner? We're not going to get any dinner? What are you going to feed me, Court? I'm hungry. Sally Jesse was a, wait, hold up. What was that? Was a cigarette smoking radical feminist. Really? I liked her look. I thought she had like really cool hair and glasses. And she always had those cool like outfits. No funny business is happening on a first date. That's for dang sure, Yoda. So I don't know what you're implying. Yeah, I love the red hair with the red glasses. New guy wants to hold my hand. That's nice. Oh, yeah, I've liked watching episodes of the Joan Rivers show as well. Is this what the Beatles meant by hold your hand? Yeah, her outfits were on point. I loved it. Oh, I miss the 90s, y'all. Things just isn't what they was. Do y'all like this sweater I'm wearing? It's a I don't know. It's a green sweater. It's got kind of an open knit kind of, so it's good for a early fall day, where the temperature fluctuates. You want to smell my fingers. I'm so disturbed. Oh, wow. Court's going to make me some catfish and then take me shooting. That's nice. That sounds fun. Yeah, JLP on the Larry Elder show was great. Wasn't that the episode where he was talking about why he wouldn't hire people who had a black sounding name? People lost their minds. Guys, I've been having fun with y'all, but I've been on here long enough. I should get going. It's been like 3.5+ hours and the nails are done. So I should get about doing some things around the house and whatnot. But I've had a fun time hanging out. Did y'all have fun? If you had fun, hit the like button. Be sure to, do that. Yeah, it was a good chill stream. Maybe I'll come on later if I'm feeling up for it, if nobody else is on, and read from my book later tonight. But yeah, I want to get away from the computer for a while and go do some stuff and have lunch. Actually, it's like 2:00 and I haven't really eaten. I mean, I had that biscuit and I had a croissant today, but I need to eat some protein. So I have fun. Thank you all for being here. Thanks, Gregatron's a great show. Thanks, y'all. You guys made it fun. It wasn't just, it was a work of love together that we created this awesome show. And we'll be back for another chill stream again. But until then, I hope y'all take care of yourselves and, we'll meet again. Don't know where, don't know when, but I know we'll meet again some sunny day. Bye.